For South Carolina and Clemson, success is measured by just one, the rivalry. This year, the teams share similar fates. Brad Scott is in his first year at Columbia and has brought renewed enthusiasm to the program. Tommy West is in his inaugural year at the Clemson helm. He has the Tiger faithful hoping for past glories. Both teams are 5-5 with a winning season hanging in the balance and a possible bowl appearance at stake for South Carolina. For the 92nd time, it's the Palmetto State Championship. The South Carolina Gamecocks and the Clemson Tigers next.
Jefferson Pilot Sports presents the best in regional college football, the Atlantic Coast Conference. Today's Exxon ACC Game of the Week is brought to you by Exxon, where people are stopping by for the reliable performance of Exxon 93 Supreme Gasoline. Rely on the Tiger. By Delta Airlines, the airline of ACC country. You'll love the way we fly. By Lee Apparel, maker of regular, relaxed, and easy-fit jeans and casual pants. Lee is the brand that fits. By Pepsi. Be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. By First Union. When it comes to service, everything matters. By CarQuest Auto Parts. For the CarQuest store nearest you, call 1-800-492-PART. By Molson Ice from Canada, the land where ice was born. By Burger King, home of Whopper values. Get your burger's worth at Burger King. And by your local Mazda dealers.
It was back in 1896 when Clemson and South Carolina first played a football game. 2,000 people paid a quarter each to watch that one. Today, 85,000 people will be jammed into Memorial Stadium in Death Valley to watch the Tigers and Gamecocks do battle once more for bragging rights in the state of South Carolina. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Hogwood. We have a fantastic football game for you today. Working along with me is Coach Bill Dooley. And, Coach, I know when you were at Virginia playing Virginia Tech, you were at North Carolina going against Duke. You know what these games are all about.
Boy, it's a big rivalry, and this was one of the biggest in the country. Then you don't need an added incentive, but the added incentive is whoever wins is going to have a winning season.
Well, it's been interesting in this game that their team on the road has won the last 3 games. 2 years ago here in Death Valley, a quarterback by the name of Steve Tannehill, then a young freshman came in and really set Clemson on its ear. But now Tannehill has matured and is having a great season for the Carolina Gamecocks.
Well, there's no doubt about it. The way South Carolina goes is the way Tannehill goes, and vice versa. Tannehill has really matured as a quarterback. He's reading the defenses good. He's a lot more accurate on his passes. He's just done an outstanding job.
Now, when we talk about the Clemson Tigers, we're talking about a couple of freshmen in the backfield who have made big marks in recent weeks. Nealon Green, the freshman quarterback, he is something.
Well, Nealon does an outstanding job. He's completing 57% of his passes, but he's also an excellent option runner. He's really made a big lift to this offense. Lamont Paquise, he's a guy that can break tackles. He's averaging 4.3 yards per carry, but he can find the little crease in the soft spot in the defense.
When we come back, we'll talk about another great athlete in today's game playing cornerback for the Clemson Tigers. One of the great traditions with this rival football game is the game ball run to benefit the Children's Hospital of Richland Memorial. It began yesterday in Columbia and has just wound up, and that ball will be put in play today, the game ball here in Clemson, South Carolina. A lot of great traditions as we talk indeed about a rivalry. Now, 1 year ago, Clemson won this game. They came from behind, had a starting quarterback by the name of Dexter McLean. Today, McLean will be the starting cornerback for the Clemson Tigers.
Well, he's an excellent football player, and as a coach, you always want to get your best athletes on the field. McLean is a guy that not only was a quarterback last year, but led the team in interception. Here he is making a big play against the University of North Carolina.
He'll be trying to stop Steve Tannehill today. We'll be back with the kickoff of this great rivalry in just a moment.
Well, it'll hit you at that moment in time when you roll over in the bus and give it a roll the rock for the last time. and, 30 seconds. And then that'll be the last time you're able to do that. So, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it while I last.
Tim Jones, the senior linebacker, talking about the thrill of running down the hill. Mike Hogwood along with Bill Dooley. And, Coach, I've already lost our first bet. I owe you dinner. I thought that the Clemson Tigers would be changing their pants and coming out in the orange pants today, which had been a tradition for them. But it was South Carolina who went in the locker room and changed pants. They got rid of the white garnet pants that are now in white. You saw the series record there. It's been dominated by the Clemson Tigers over the years. Clemson will receive. The Carolina Gamecocks will kick off. We've got a beautiful day for a football game here, Coach.
Well, we really have, Mike. And you talk about the pants. Clemson has won 4 out of the last 5 games in those orange pants, and they won last week in it. So maybe they decided they'd go with the white pants and see if they can win with those.
All right. Somehow, I don't think it makes a difference.
You're exactly right.
Reed Morton is out to kick off for South Carolina. There you see the men standing back. Andre Williams and Andre Humphrey. Humphrey needs 21 yards to set a Clemson record for kickoff returns. There is Reed Morton, who will also handle the field goal duties for South Carolina. Marty Simpson has also been kicking off a lot this year, but it is Reed Morton who gets the call here to start this great rivalry in the Palmetto State. We're underway. It's going to be Humphrey at the 9. Andre Humphrey fighting for yardage across the 30. He's up to about the 34-yard line. That's where the Clemson Tigers will put it in play. Ben Washington in on the stop for South Carolina.
Well, Mike, he may have gotten close to his 21 yards right there.
Delon Green, the freshman from Yonkers, New York, in to lead the offense for the Clemson Tigers. It's an all-freshman backfield. Raymond Priester and Lamont Pegues. Priester the fullback. Pegues is the tailback. 2 wide receivers, top of your screen. That is Marcus Hinton in motion. And right away, Hank Campbell, the middle linebacker, comes up to stuff Lamont Pegues. Maybe a yard loss. Right now, let's take a look at our Burger King starting lineup. There you see the freshmen, Green, Priester, and Pegues. Hinton, Crooks, and Stephon Wynn will be the tight ends starting there today. They'll run 3 tight ends. A young offensive line that has really matured over the second half of this season. Second down, 10 yards to go. No gain on the play by Pegues. Green to throw on second down. Over the head of Hinton and almost picked off by Tony Watkins, the strong safety. Really the best player on this South Carolina defense, number 24.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Watkins leads the tackle for South Carolina and is always around that football.
It'll bring up 3rd and long, something that the Clemson offensive coaches did not want this offense to get into. And again, Pegues is stuffed right up the middle by David Turnipseed. And let's take a look at that staunch South Carolina defense. Those linemen, Rump, Turnipseed, are really strong. Stacey Evans, he is the man who rushes the passer, and he is tough. Brooks, Campbell, Smith, the linebackers. Tony Watkins is the leading tackler on this team, the strong safety. Nelson Welch now in punt formation. Darryl Nicklow is standing back at his own 29-yard line. Welch booms one. Nicklow with problems at the 15. He's tackled at the 13 by Anye McCrory. Great coverage by the Tigers.
Well, Andre does an excellent job of coming down, breaking down, getting under control. And of course, Nicklow dropped that football and was very lucky to get it back.
There you see the numbers on Steve Tannehill, the starting quarterback for the South Carolina Gamecocks. That was a 45-yard punt by Nelson Welch. Tannehill with 18 touchdown passes, needs 2 touchdown passes to tie Todd Ellis's single-season mark. Stanley Pritchett, Brandon Bennett in the backfield behind Steve Tannehill. 1st and 10, first offensive play from scrimmage. And this is Pritchett up the middle. Let's take a look after that 2-yard gain at the South Carolina offense. Tannehill, Brandon Bennett, who's led this team in rushing every year he's been at South Carolina. Toby Cates, he's a big play man at wide receiver. Frederick and Boomer Foster's the tight end. Up front, they're strong. Wheeler, Herring, Vincent Dinkins is really the stalwart on that offensive line at center. Pickup of 3, second down, 7 yards to go for the Gamecocks. Play action. Pass is complete up to the 24-yard line to Darryl Nicklow. Andre Humphrey on the coverage for the Tigers. And here is that Tiger defense, which has been outstanding all season. And, of course, when you talk about Clemson defense, you talk about linebackers. Wardell Riles, Mike Barber, Tim Jones, leading tackler on this team. Humphrey and Brian Dawkins may be the strong man in the secondary for the Clemson Tigers. Dexter McLean also back there, number 9. On first down, Tannehill to throw again, and again it's Nicklow. Up across the 35 at the 37. McLeon was covering, but Tannehill starts out red hot, Bill. 2 for 2.
He certainly does. Steve is in the shotgun, but he sprints out on the corner. And watch him as he puts pressure on the corner and hits a little out pattern to Whitlow. The defensive back was right on top of him, Dexter McLean, and he was right there to make the stop.
Mark the ball at the 36-yard line. Another first down for South Carolina. Their first offensive possession, and again, it's out of the shotgun. Steve Tannehill. Bennett and Pritchard alongside him in the backfield. Pritchard for very little gain.
Well, this has been an effective play for them. They run the draw out of the shotgun, and they do this in order to keep the pressure off of the quarterback.
Marvin Cross, the junior out of Durham, North Carolina, up to make the stop for the Tigers. A loss of a yard as you see Brad Scott, 11 years an assistant at Florida State. Now the head man at South Carolina, and had a great first season here. Really has folks excited about Gamecock football across the state. 2nd and 11. Tannehill again on play action. And again, it completes a pass. This time it's to Toby Cates, and he's into Clemson territory down to the 42-yard line.
Well, that was a sprint draw fake from Steve Tannehill to the fullback, Brandon Bennett. He pulls the ball down and then sees Toby Cates right over the middle. Excellent game. Toby Cates is a big play football player. They want to move him around today to try to get him over. They've got him on the inside right now, and you'll see him try to get matched up against some linebackers.
Gamecocks really have something going here early in the first quarter. Tannehill 3 for 3, 43 yards. First down at the 42-yard line. Under center this time. He'll give to his tailback, Bennett. Bennett fighting for yardage down to about the 36. Mike Barber and Andre Carter making the stop for Clemson, but not before a sizable gain on first down, and both coaches feel that that's a key today.
Well, it definitely is. Brandon Bennett, as you mentioned, did an excellent job of keeping his feet moving, getting extra yardage. Of course, that moves those chains to make it 2nd and 5.
Oh, and you're a coach, you like 2nd and 5.
That's exactly right. You don't want 2nd and 10.
Down to the 37-yard line. Very quickly, South Carolina's at least getting into Reed Morton field goal range. The fake to Bennett. There's the rush. Warren Forney comes up, and Darnell Stevens makes the sack.
Well, the Clemson coaches have really been high on Darnell Stevens. Let's watch as Tannehill goes back, fakes to his tailback, and Stevens comes right off the block and puts good pressure on him, along with number 13, Wardell Roush.
His 6th sack of the season. Stevens, the senior from San Antonio, Texas, now puts South Carolina's offense in 3rd and long, and this crowd is up on its feet. 3rd down conversions on the season, 37%. Certainly Brad Scott would like that to be a little higher. Tannehill with plenty of time. It's going to be picked off by McLean. Dexter McLean was in perfect position to pick off that pass.
What a great play by Dexter McLean. What they did, Clemson put in their dime package. They put in 2 extra defensive backs, Mike. We'll see, again, a fake to the tailback. They're playing underneath coverage, man for man. Watch McLean underneath, goes up, and takes the ball.
Well, the turnover gives the ball to the Clemson offense. 9:43 left in the first quarter. We'll be back after this message from Park West Auto Parts. Mike Hogwood and Bill Dooley back with this great rivalry in the Palmetto State. Clemson and South Carolina. Dexter McLean has just come up with his 4th interception of the season, and it has given Clemson the football at the 20-yard line. Or 15, rather. That's Pegues up across the 15 to the 17. Hank Campbell, middle linebacker for the Gamecocks, up and makes the stop. Well, that extra defensive back really was a big call for Clemson on that last series.
Well, it definitely was. They used what they call their dime coverage. You know, we had talked earlier, Mike, about Clemson saying that they needed to get good yardage on first down so they could stay on record. Now they're behind a little bit.
On the option, Pegues drops the football. Falls on it himself and actually gets a couple-yard gain out of it across the 20 to the 21. Tony Watkins on the stop. That had been Pegues' problem early in this season, holding on to the football.
Well, let's take a look at it as we come down with the option play. Pitches out to Pegues, and he just drops the ball. It's been right in his hands. But, you know, that's one of the reasons that Clemson has been successful is due to the fact that they've only lost 1 fumble all year long. They lead the nation in fumbles.
Yeah, but Tommy West just had heart failure on that play. 3rd down. Green
got 1 block.
Across the 25, he's close to a first down. Campbell on the stop again for South Carolina, but I think Lamont Green may have enough for a Tiger first down.
He just didn't have time to see. We had a receiver wide open down the field. Of course, he was trying to get up the field to get the first down, but it could have been an easy touchdown had he have seen that receiver.
I heard the coach coming out in you. You're throw it. He's wide open. 8:20 left first quarter. No score and play action. This time Kenya Crooks is open and he makes the catch across the 40 at the 41-yard line. There had been some doubt as to whether Kenya Crooks would play today. He had a concussion last week, but looks like he's pretty healthy.
Well, let's take a look at it. Watch it. He fakes the bootleg. He comes out. Green finds Crook coming across. Now, this is the thing that Clemson's got to do because South Carolina's jammed in there with 7 in the box. They've got to come out throwing the football on first down, and that's why they did it, and they did it successfully.
On first down, across the 40 up to the 44-yard line, Tony DeSue, who is in the game at fullback. Tony Watkins, again, the strong safety up to make the tackle for South Carolina.
Tony DeSue was a highly recruited athlete out of the Tidewater, Virginia, and is an excellent running back.
Well, DeSue comes off the field now, and Pegues the tailback. Again, it's the option to Pegues. Lamont Pegues up close to another first down. He's going to be about a yard short. Ron Neely, the junior from Pottstown, Pennsylvania, making the tackle on Thomasville, North Carolina's Lamont Pegues.
Well, Mike, the Clemson coaches talked about that they were going to use a lot of option plays, a lot of different style option plays, the loaded option, the speed option, and you're going to see quite a few options out here this afternoon on the perimeter to get the ball on the perimeter against South Carolina.
We have an official timeout now. They want to get the Clemson players back off the sideline. When you're involved in an emotional game like this, Tommy West is saying, what's the matter?
Well, he's a little upset about something.
Referee Al Ford was there telling the players they had to move back a little bit, and they have moved back to his liking, and we're ready to play. 3rd and 2. Great play again by Hank Campbell, who has been all over the field early in this game, throwing Nealon Green rather for a loss, and it'll bring up 4th down for Clemson.
Well, watch Campbell, number 45, get penetration on Nealon Green as he comes down the line. Outstanding play by Campbell from his middle linebacker position. As you mentioned, he's made a number of tackles this afternoon.
Hank Campbell, junior from Charleston, South Carolina. Nelson Welch had 1 punt earlier for 45 yards. His 2nd attempt of the afternoon. Not much of a rush by South Carolina. They've got the return on. That's Nicklow at the 19. Nicklow with nowhere to go is going to be run out of bounds at the 19-yard line. Benji Wood down on the coverage.
Excellent
Still
coverage.
no score early in the first quarter. We'll be back, but first a word from your local ACC station. A lot of success at first drive before throwing the interception. You know, he's quite a different player this year than last. Look at the statistics, particularly the completion percentage. Shows a lot of maturing over a year.
Well, the South Carolina coaches have really been pleased with the progress that Tannehill has made reading the defenses, the coverages of the opposing teams.
Tannehill showed the shotgun and now moves under center. That's Pritchett and Brandon Bennett behind him. This will be Brandon Bennett. Bennett across the 20, not much at all. Tim Jones, the leader on that Clemson defense, is up quickly to make the tackle.
Well, both teams want to try to establish a little run so that they can have some pass, particularly South Carolina. They feel like that they can throw the football a whole lot better if they can get a little running game established.
They threw it pretty good that first series until the interception by Dexter McCleon. 2nd and 8 for the Gamecocks. And again, play action. The rush is on Tannehill. He's going down at the 12-yard line. Darnell Stevens again was there, along with Raymond White, number 97. But Stevens, number 30, was the main man, and he is really playing hard early.
Well, this is one thing that Clemson wanted to do, is put the pressure on Tannehill. There's 97 coming in, and then watch number 30, Darnell Stevens. Again, he is really liked by the Clemson coaches. They say he has made a great deal of improvement from that defensive end position. Wardell Rouse has 8.5 sacks this season, along with Stevenson, both of them the leading sackers on the Clemson team.
Loss of 13 yards on the play. Brings up 3rd down. 21. We've got a penalty flag down. I believe Tannehill didn't get the play off. He couldn't hear back there, and he was trying to change the play, and it took too much time, and it's going to be a delay of game, and another 5 yards will be tacked on. They're half the distance to the goal.
Offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Is 4 yards. Now it's 3rd and 25, and Brad Scott has to dig deep into the playbook for this one. 3rd and long. Tannehill overshoots his intended receiver, Toby Cates, and it will be a punting situation for South Carolina. Derwin Jeffcoat coming onto the field, and the Clemson defense gets a nice hand from this homestanding crowd.
Well, again, Mike, they used the 2 extra defensive backs in the ball game. They put in Ford at cornerback and moved Humphreys in on the inside receiver. That's worked very effectively for them. The last time they used it, McCleon intercepted.
Well, Jeffcoat has been list punted all year long. Marty Simpson, now we had word that this might happen today. South Carolina has changed punters. Marty Simpson punting today. Gets off a pretty good one that Humphrey is going to let drop. And it definitely takes a South Carolina roll into Clemson territory. And Marty Simpson now the punter for South Carolina. No score, 4:11 left to play, first quarter in Death Valley. No score in this battle between 2 great rivals, South Carolina and Clemson. Mike Hogwood and Bill Dooley with you. 4:11 left in the first quarter, and all those pregame nerves and jitters should have calmed down now, and we're settled into some good football. The 49, right up the middle, it is Raymond Priester. Right now, let's take a look at the First Union presenting around the ACC. Virginia Tech at high noon. The Hokies lead this in-state rivalry 37-35. There have been 5 ties. Both teams in the top 25. Wake Forest, Georgia Tech trying to get an ACC win. Maryland at Syracuse. Jermaine Lewis of Maryland goes for his 5th straight 100-yard receiving day. And how about Florida and NC State? Will Terry Harvey play tonight? If not, Jeff Bender will be the quarterback. There's a flag down as Nealon Green turns up on the option. We also have an injured player on the field. Nealon Green gets across midfield for the first time for the Clemson Tigers, but there is a penalty.
Well, Mike, that looks like it might be a holding penalty from where that flag came from. Let's take a look and see what the referee says.
Block on the offense. 15 yards, still second down.
Referee Al Ford. And it will be second and long for the Tigers. It will negate the gain.
Here's the gain by Green. It's good second effort by Green as you see him cut back up inside.
Tommy West in his first year at Clemson, not happy at all with the penalty that has momentarily slowed down this drive a bit. And second and 25 is not the kind of situation the Clemson offense wants to be in at all. Play action, Green will throw. He's going deep for Hinton. Nice coverage on the play by Corey Bell, the senior cornerback out of Miami, on Marcus Hinton. And it'll bring up third and long.
Well, the coaches said earlier that they were going to go deep on South Carolina. They were going to try to go deep. And Hinton's got good speed, number 6. Watch Corey Bell and Hinton go up. Corey Bell does an excellent job playing the ball at its height. Watch his hand go up over Hinton. Outstanding job by Bell.
Green now 1 out of 3 passing, 19 yards. Antoine Wyatt is in the game for the first time today on this third and long. Green had Raymond Priester out in the flat, but Priester simply dropped it, and again Nelson Welch will have to come on and kick it away for the Tigers.
Well, that was just a little dump pass, little screen to the fullback, Priester.
Let's check some scores of some other games. The Cavaliers out in front of the Hokies early, 3-0 in the first quarter. And Maryland down a touchdown to the Orangemen of Syracuse right now. Call 1-900-267-5757 for score updates. The block was on, but Welch got it away. Nicklow at the 24. A tough time deciding which way to go. Only picks up a couple yards. Another good punt by Nelson Welch. That one went 43 yards. And right now we just kind of had a little bit of a tussling match. Both teams feeling each other out, trying to.
It looks like a flag's out there, Mike, over on the far sideline.
Might be hitting out of bounds as Nicklow taking that punt to the left side. Let's see. There he steps. That's the call.
On the
it's
return
close.
against the white team, 10 yards, first down.
A block in the back, as we so often see on these kicking situations. Sometimes it is really tough to avoid sometimes when you get turned the wrong way.
Well, it definitely is, and it puts South Carolina back in another little hole, Mike. They're back inside their 20-yard line.
You see the numbers on Steve Tannehill, 3 out of 5 for 1 interception. And South Carolina was driving early in the game. Pritchett and Bennett in the backfield along with Steve Tannehill. Play action, and again, Bennett faces a tough rush and Tannehill has a tough time getting it away because of number 13, Wardell Rouse, who really came in and gave Steve Tannehill all he could handle.
What a play by Wardell Rouse as he bull rushes right through, watch it go through the offensive tackle, rushes right through him and gets his hands up. And what a tremendous job by Rouse. Number 68 was trying to block on Wardell, but couldn't hold on to him, didn't keep his shoulder square.
Tannehill's missed on his last 3 passes. Second down and 10 now from the 17. Again on play action. This time the screen. It's complete to Bennett. Bennett breaks a tackle. Bennett with first down yardage up across the 35-yard line. Tim Jones brought him down, but not before a great run.
Also, you can see the little screen pass out to Bennett, but watch the blocking out in front of Bennett. There's the lineman right there. Excellent job by number 73. Vincent Dimpkins, the offensive center of South Carolina, paves the way for Brandon Bennett's big run.
Brandon Bennett, 40 receptions on this season. Second on the team. Going long is Tannehill. He's got a man, and it's complete to the 23. You told us they might go deep, and this time it's Mike Reddick. Reddick, the junior from Miami.
Well, Tannehill displayed a lot of poise. He sat back there. He had the pressure on him, and he kept looking and kept looking. And there he is, right as he just outran the secondary. Big play by Tannehill to Reddick, who comes in the one-back set.
So often you see a game like this decided by big plays, and as you said, both teams were going to try to go long today. It also helps when there's a linebacker covering the running back, Mike Reddick. And here's a little flanker screen. It gets down to the 20. There's a flag down. Pass was to Monty Means from Steve Tannehill, who went cold for a minute, but now Tannehill is red hot again.
I think you're going to see a block in the back on this particular play, Mike. It negates that good gain by South Carolina.
Our referee is Al Ford.
Against the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still first down.
Let's take a look at it. There's the block right there on Dexter McCleon. Number 9 hit him right in the back. That block was by number 68.
The ball is moved back to the 38-yard line. It'll be 1st and 24 for South Carolina. Niccolo in the game now as one of the wide receivers, along with Toby Cates. And the give is to Pritchett, who was the sole back in the backfield. Raymond White, the freshman from Clinton, Mississippi, up to make the stop.
Well, that was a big play by White as he stayed right at home, fought off the blocker, and made the big play.
Gain of only a yard, 2nd and 23. Again, Pritchett remains the only back in the backfield, and now he goes in motion. Tannehill got time. Wanted Toby Cates down around the 9-yard line. Good coverage, as you saw, by number 20, Brian Dawkins, on the play.
Well, this is what the South Carolina offensive coaching staff was talking about. Ricky Bussell. They wanted to move Cates around, Toby Cates, and they send him right down the middle to get a good matchup on the linebackers of Clemson rather than the defensive back. It looks like Toby Cates is limping a little bit, Mike, going off the field.
That's a player they can ill afford to lose. Cates, the real big play man. Mike Reddick is back in the game in the backfield, and now he comes out to a wide receiver. On 3rd and 23. Nice play by Dexter McCleon, number 9 for the Clemson Tigers, who broke up that pass.
Well, again, the defensive line of Clemson really puts the pressure on. Barney came in, really put the pressure on Tannehill, and McCleon, as you mentioned, was right on top of the receiver.
And the Tigers will punt it away. Marty Simpson, again, as we told you, has the punting job today for the Carolina Gamecocks. Clemson has nobody back. Simpson will try to angle it out of bounds, no doubt. And instead just floats it into the end zone. It'll be a touchback and 1st and 10 for the Clemson Tigers at the 20-yard line. Simpson hit that punt, tried to hit it really easy, but just got a little too much foot into it and doesn't make the sideline very happy at all. Some scores of other games. We have 41 seconds left in the first quarter here. North Carolina and Duke are tied at 7 in Durham, North Carolina today. Ohio State with a safety leading the Michigan Wolverines in a big rivalry there. Virginia now up 6-0. We're scoreless here. And that's Pegues, who goes absolutely nowhere. Again, Hank Campbell, number 45, one of the primary tacklers. and that running game inside is just not going right now for Clemson.
Well, it isn't, Mike, and this is one thing the Clemson coaches talked about. We've got to make good yardage on first down to stay on schedule. If we can make 4 yards, we're all right. But they come up with no gain, and that's going to put them in a passing situation. And this is what South Carolina was trying to do, to force them to have to throw the football.
New fullback in the game for the Clemson Tigers. It's Benji Wood, the freshman from Atlanta. This will be the last play of the first quarter. Elon Green turns it upfield for a couple of yards before, again, Hank Campbell, number 45, who has been everywhere in this first quarter, was there. And that will be the last play of the first quarter. We are scoreless in Death Valley. This great rivalry in the Palmetto State headed to the second quarter. 0-0 between the Gamecocks and Tigers. Mike Hogwood and Bill Dooley with you in Clemson, South Carolina. 0-0 our score as we get set to start the second quarter. It'll be 3rd and 6 balls on the 24. Antoine Wyatt is in the game, replacing Lamont Pegues. Benji Wood is also in there. Green, straight drop back. He's got Kenya Crooks, who breaks a tackle. Crooks has a first down up across the 35-yard line. Stacey Evans made the hit, but not before a fine reception by Kenya Crooks, who is the leading receiver for a freshman in Clemson history.
Well, they've got a one-back offense, and they hit right outside the Crooks, a little 3-step drop pass, and, of course, that picks up the first down. This is what Clemson's got to do. They've got to open them up a little bit because South Carolina's keeping them inside in the box.
Pegues is back in the game. That's Pegues with the football, and Lamont Pegues has gone absolutely nowhere today. Evans among the men up there to make the hit, along with Ben Washington. Right now, let's take a look at our Lee Apparel first quarter stats. And as you see, look at the big discrepancy in the passing and in the rushing as well. The Clemson Tigers have gained 18. A lot of them have been sacks for South Carolina, but 102 yards passing so far for South Carolina.
Well, they've really taken advantage of the middle part by moving Toby Cates around and getting a good matchup with him.
Lamont Pegues, 7 carries for only 10 yards today. Play action. Green's going deep. He's got a man wide open. Kenya Crooks did not have a defender within 10 yards of him. The ball was just overthrown.
Well, the Clemson coaches, Clyde Christensen and Rick Stockstill, the coordinators, felt that they could go deep on the cornerbacks of South Carolina with play-action pass. And, of course, it was wide open for them.
When you're a coach and see that, that's when you just kind of close your eyes for a minute, isn't it?
Just a little more patience, and Green would have had it in there.
I mean, there was nobody anywhere near Kenya Crooks on that play. Ball was just overthrown. Again, Clemson lines up with 3 wide receivers. Elon Green did not like what he saw and did not have the Marcus Hinton did not know exactly where he should have been lining up. So Green saw the play clock winding down and wisely called timeout. Well, as you said, Bill, you don't want to be in 3rd and 10 if you're Clemson's offense. But they've got to loosen the defense up a bit.
Well, that's exactly right, Mike. On first down, they've got to come out and throw the football some because South Carolina is playing with 7 defensive football players in the box, and it's very difficult to run up inside when you've got that many bodies. So if you spread them out and you play action pass on them some, that will make those linebackers get out of there, and that's what Clemson's got to be able to do.
There you get a look at Brad Scott, hoping his defense can hold on his 3rd down play and get the offense the ball back. Saw a moment ago Rick Stockstill, who was talking with Elon Green along with Tommy West. Stockstill and Clyde Christensen, co-offensive coordinators. There's Tommy West in his first season and coached the team in the Peach Bowl last year. But then this season made a lot of changes in Clemson football and the offense, and really has him playing what he wants, and hopefully has the groundwork for some great football teams down the road here. He's really got it going here at Clemson.
Well, he certainly has. They're very young, and they're going to be very good for a long time.
Pegues and Wyatt right in the backfield with Green. Pass is complete. That's Antoine Wyatt, who is the leading receiver on this Clemson team. That's his 30th catch of the season. Watkins makes the stop. And we've seen a lot of Wyatt on passing situations.
This is a little 3-step drop flare pass out to Wyatt. Wyatt is very elusive, makes a good move on the would-be tackler, and goes back inside, and Anthony Brooks makes the stop.
Not enough for a first down. Nelson Welch will have to kick it away. 3 punts, averaging 43.7. This one's not going near that far, but it takes a great roll. It may have hit somebody.
I believe it did. That's why he went after that football the way he did.
Oh, big break for South Carolina. They've still got the football at the 15-yard line, where they'll have it when we come back to Clemson. 13:23 left to play, first half. Mike Hogwood and Bill Dooley here. It's been a defensive battle so far. Neither team can get their running game untracked. Brandon Bennett's been pretty well shut down so far. He's got the ball right now. Bennett breaks a tackle, gets across the 15 up to about the 17, but it's only about a 2-yard gain. Mike Barber in to make the stop for the Tigers. Brandon Bennett, 3 carries, 9 yards. Well below his average. Average is 4.4 yards a carry. 2nd and 8 from the 17-yard line. Tannehill. This is Bennett. Bennett's got a first down and more across the 30. Again, it's Barber making the stop, but not before Brandon Bennett gets a South Carolina first down.
This is a well-executed play as they fake to Bennett up in the middle. Then they hit the little screen pass to him right there. What a move he makes on that tackle. There's Barber coming in, number 12, and Barber, one of the leading tacklers on the Clemson defense, makes that stop. Not before Brandon Bennett makes a big gain.
1st and 10. Ball's marked at the 30-yard line, and Tannehill in the shotgun. Pass is complete to Cates. He's got another first down up across the 40. Andre Carter makes the stop, but not before the pass play from Tannehill to Cates is good for us, another first down.
Well, Clemson was putting the pressure on. Watch number 30 Stevens and number 20 up, the defensive back, comes in and they hit Toby Cates. Toby is the big play football player for South Carolina, and he really provides them with a big lift on this offense.
Toby Cates with 38 catches coming into the game, 2nd on the team. Brandon Bennett's the leading receiver, as well as the leading rusher. Ball at the 43-yard line. And again, South Carolina starting to mount a drive. Out of the shotgun, there's that draw to Bennett. And again, the running play gets only a couple before Tim Jones, the Clemson great linebacker, makes the stop.
Well, South Carolina's mixing it up good, Mike. They're throwing, they're running the draws up inside, and that's the way you have a balanced type offense to keep the defense off guard a little bit.
Gain of 2 makes it 2nd and 8. Mike Reddick is in the game. We've seen him used as a pass receiver out of the backfield a couple of times today. He's the lone setback with Steve Tannehill. Again out of the shotgun. Tannehill's pass is complete across the 50-yard line to Andre Humphrey in and making the stop.
That's quite a hit by Andre Humphrey as he comes up from his cornerback position. That's 5 receivers out. Watch Humphrey, number 34, come up. Good tackle. He keeps his feet moving and does not allow the ball carrier to fall forward.
Calvin Owens with a nice catch for the Gamecocks. It's 3rd and 2. Ball is just across midfield. Pritchett is going to be up close to the first down.
I believe he's got it, Mike. That was a good line surge by the offensive line, and of course Pritchett gave good second effort on his carrying that football, and that enables him to get that first down.
So once again, South Carolina has mounted a drive, and again is in Clemson territory. You'll remember early in the first quarter, Tannehill threw an interception. First down from the 45. This is Bennett. Pritchett leading the way. Good block by the fullback. And Brandon Bennett with a nice gain on first down to about the 38-yard line before Mike Barber and Brian Dawkins can make the stop for the Tigers.
Tackled by number 12, Mike Barber, and number 20, Brian Dawkins.
Good lead blocking that time by Delvin Herring, the left guard, and also by the fullback, Pritchett.
You're exactly right.
Look at Bennett. He's right behind Harold Green and George Rogers as far as the career rushing leaders are concerned.
Bennett's led this team in rushing every year he's been here. He's got the football again. This time, he's not going to gain anything.
Brendan Bennett on the carry.
Tiger defense had that smelled out. Warren Forney and Andre Humphrey along with Brett Williams, number 92.
Well, let's take a look at it as they run the sweep out to Bennett. And there's Pritchett leading. Oh, what a tackle. We didn't wrap him up. That was Stevens, number 30, who first came in there and hit him. Good penetration, though, by Stevens.
Another big third down play. From the 39-yard line, it's 3rd and 4. Bennett is going to be well short, down to about the 38. They are not in the field goal range of Reed Morton. Marvin Cross with the stop. And some South Carolina fans who are here are hollering for Brad Scott, Steve Tannehill to go for it, and they just might do it.
Well, it looks like 4th and about 1, or maybe a little bit more than 1.
Being called 4th and 2, and Steve Tannehill has got his troops together.
They may try to draw him off sides here.
South Carolina with their tight goal line offense situation, no wide receivers, and somebody moved.
They did. That's exactly what they were trying to do, Mike. They shifted. They drew Clemson off sides, and I believe it's going to be a 5-yard penalty. Give them the first down. Watch South Carolina shift, and you can move the tight ends.
Number 83, James Cummings, the tight end that moved, and that was perfectly legal.
Simulating the start of a snap. Still 4th down.
Well,
what they've said that they jerked a little bit too much to simulate as if they were starting the play.
Well, Al Ford, the referee, certainly closer to the play than we are. Marty Simpson, 2 punts today, had one that rolled and went a total of 48 yards. And now Al Ford wants to discuss something with the other officials.
I think Brad Scott is a little upset about that call. That you are allowed to shift, but you can't jerk when you shift, Mike. If you jerk, then you're simulating the start of a play.
And the problem, though, is the coach on the sidelines can't see that jerk, and so he is. What do you mean it was?
Well, we can take a look at it and actually see that they may have really simulated like a start. Well, they were moving laterally. They weren't moving forward. But anytime you make a jerky move, then they say that you are...
Well, South Carolina is going to take a timeout. Brad Scott has not said all he has to say to Al Ford. He's going to take a timeout so he can get his words in. And Tommy West is saying, let's get on with it and get us the football. And that will happen in just a moment. 4th down. South Carolina is going to punt it away. We have no score. 8:15 left to play. First half. Score 2nd quarter, and Marty Simpson on 4th down will punt the ball away. Andre Humphrey standing at his 10-yard line. The ball kicks into the end zone for a touchback. Clemson Tigers will have the ball at the 20, but hold on, there's a flag down.
Well, Mike, I believe there was a little movement there prior to the punt, and it appeared that Chris Abrams was the fellow that moved up front.
On the offense, the penalties declined. The touchback got first down.
42-yard kick for Marty Simpson. It'll give the Tigers a first down at the 20-yard line. Total yards so far, well, the Gamecocks are out in front, but what matters is the scoreboard, and neither team is scratched there.
Well, we talked about, I think Clemson's got to be able to open the play up on first down. They've got to throw the football and loosen that defense up. They're still in the box.
And it's Pegues again and again. He doesn't get anything on first down.
Well, it's very difficult, Mike, when you've got 7 people sitting up in there. You've got to come out and get the ball on the perimeter or loosen them up with the pass.
There you see David Turnipseed and Hank Campbell, who were in on that tackle, along with Eric Sullivan. And it will be 2nd down and 10 for the Tiger offense. The running game has just not been there today for Clemson. Priester and Pegues in the backfield. Green to throw. And it's going to be picked off. Corey Bell has it. And our first really big break of this game, and there are flags down all over the far sideline. The pass was intended for Henry Guest, but it was overthrown. Guest tipped it, and Corey Bell, the senior from Miami, comes up with the interception.
Well, that looked like the old tip drill, Mike, that you work on in practice. Came right off of Guest's fingertips. Watch Green go back. Sprint out pass. It's a little curl pattern to Guest coming inside, right off his fingertips, and good concentration on the football by Corey Bell. Corey Bell comes down with it and doesn't give up and takes the ball down the sidelines.
And we might mention that's the first time this season that Nealon Green has been intercepted.
Now that's something like 85 or 86 passes with no interception.
Against the white team on the return. After the play was over, we had a dead ball, personal foul against this team. It'll be 15 yards this way and an automatic first down.
Well, you hear the penalties and the cause of all the commotion on the far sidelines from Al Ford. Tommy West not happy about it because South Carolina gets the ball 1st and 10 in what we call the red zone down inside the 20, but the Clemson defense has been great down here. The opponents have been in the red zone 32 times this season and come away with only 9 touchdowns. That's a pretty good record. So now the Clemson defense will be put to the test. Ball's at the 16-yard line. First down, Gamecocks. Fumble, and Pritchett is on the ball very quickly at the 19-yard line.
Well, I was going to add, Mike, that's what they have been able to do. They have had 7 turnovers. They have forced 7 turnovers when people have gotten down in what we call the red zone.
Let's take a look at quarterback Steve Tannehill. Look at him surveying that defense. He was not, I don't think he was ready for that snap.
I think he saw the blitz coming and tried to get out of it.
Heads up play by Stanley Pritchett. Now 2nd down from the 19, 13 to go, loss of 3. Brandon Bennett. Oh, boy, it is tough inside today. Marvin Cross, number 91, also Lamarick Simpson there for the Tigers. Neither team finding it going very good up the middle.
That's an excellent defensive play by Cross. Watch him stand the blocker up and then stay square and then come in on Brandon Bennett and not allow him any yardage at all. That's a superb defensive football play.
Well, the Clemson defense has done what they've done all year when opponents have got down there, and that's shut down the offense. 3rd and 12. Another big 3rd down play for the Gamecocks. Tannehill with time. Toby Cates, touchdown. Steve Tannehill to Toby Cates, his 7th touchdown catch of the year.
Well, that's an outstanding play. Tannehill just puts it right on the money. And Mike, we talked about earlier that they were trying to move Toby Cates around and put him in position where he could get a good matchup. Watch Tannehill. He sets his feet, throws a perfect strike to Toby Cates. Of course, Brian Dawkins, the strong safety, was just not able to get in good position because Cates had inside position on him.
Reed Morton to tie the extra point. He's been perfect all season. He's 26 out of 26 this year. The South Carolina Gamecocks have drawn first blood 7-0 over the Clemson Tigers on an 18-yard touchdown pass. Steve Tannehill to Toby Cates. And some of the South Carolina faithful here really delighting in their team, getting some offense going after the turnover.
Well, he had good position. See, Cates was inside of number 20, Brian Dawkins. When you get that kind of position, you have to interfere with the receiver to break up the pass.
Toby Cates has 3 catches today for 54 yards, and of course that 1 touchdown that you see his teammates congratulating him about. Steve Tannehill a good day, 9 for 14. But it was all started by the interception by the South Carolina defense.
Well, Corey Bell making the big play on that interception.
Andre Humphrey and Andre Williams will be back to receive the kick. The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation, and the use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Atlantic Coast Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. Mike Hogwood and Bill Dooley with you. 6 minutes to go till halftime. 7-0. South Carolina out in front of Clemson. Reed Morton again preparing to kick off. Humphrey and Williams deep for the Tigers. And now an important series coming up for the Clemson offense.
Well, it definitely is. Clemson has got to show that they're willing to throw the football on early downs and not wait until they get behind schedule.
This is Williams. Williams breaks a tackle and gets across the 20 up to about the 21-yard line where the Tigers will put it in play. 18-yard return for Andre Williams. Ben Washington on the stop for South Carolina, and Nealon Green comes right back out there. Important, I think, for a freshman after you throw an interception, the first of your entire career. I would be surprised they come right back with a pass play on first down.
Well, I think they will too, and I don't think that Nealon is going to get his confidence shaken because he's a good football player and he'll overcome it.
Pegues and Priester, the setbacks. On the option, it's Pegues. Pegues is in the open field and just tripped up across the 45 by Chris Rump.
Well, what an outstanding play. You know, you come back, you run the option, and Pegues comes in and is stopped by Tony Horn. Watch the block. Watch Horn right here. Make the block. Oh, number 58 makes a shoestring tackle. That's Chris Rump at defensive end, makes that tackle to save a touchdown.
And as you said, Coach Dooley, how about number 80, Tony Horn? What a great block that was, and what a big confidence lift it is for the Clemson Tigers. Again, it's Pegues who gets across midfield into South Carolina territory just there. Lamont Pegues had 136 yards against Georgia Tech last week. He is the leading rusher on this Clemson team, a true freshman out of Thomasville, North Carolina.
Mike, that's what they've got to do. They've got to get the ball out on the perimeter, or else they've got to throw it. They're jammed up inside. They've got to get it outside and throw the football.
5 minutes, clock's running. This is Green off the option. Green had over 100 yards rushing a week ago. Maynard Caldwell making the stop, but not before another 4 or 5 yards by Nealon Green. The problem with this kind of offense, Bill, is that you start using up the clock a whole lot. They're going to have to keep an eye on that as we get close down to the 4.5-minute mark.
Well, they employed the unbalanced line that time, and I think they surprised South Carolina because they didn't overship, and Green was able to keep up inside on the option.
Big third down play. 3rd and 3 for the Tigers. Pegues has got the first down and more to the 37-yard line before Tony Watkins comes up from his strong safety spot to hit him.
Well, the offensive line, watch the surge of the offensive line as they come off, and Pegues finds that crease in that defense. Makes a good play. Oh, and there's 24. Tony Watkins, the strong safety, the leading tackler on the South Carolina football team, making the stop on Pegues.
Now 47 yards rushing for Lamont Pegues. The big play really helped him. Again on the option, Pegues gets maybe to the line of scrimmage before Stacey Evans makes the stop. Also Mike Washington there as well.
Well, I think they were ready for the option that time as they come up, and there's number 93. You can see him coming into the screen right there, Stacey Evans making the stop.
So by not gaining anything on first down, it is now 2nd and 11, and it's tough to run that option now. And Green will throw it. He's got a receiver open, it's Hinton, he's got it, and a first down near the 15-yard line, out of bounds at the 16, ridden out by Corey Bell, but Marcus Hinton was wide open on that play, and give Nealon Green some credit, put the pass right where he had to.
Well, he certainly did. What Clemson employed a close formation that time, and Corey Bell was inside of the formation, and that way Hinton just broke to the outside, and he was wide open. That's why that play was effective.
Deepest penetration by the Clemson Tigers today, down to the 15-yard line. It's 1st and 10. 3:22 left to play first half. Green gives up to his fullback. That's Priester. Priester. Touchdown, Tigers.
Well, again, the offensive line comes off, and they employ the unbalanced line. And they suck the ball right in there. I like Priester. He's a good, hard runner.
Give some credit to Henry Getz. The wide receiver made a great block on the play. Here's Priester right up the middle.
As the tight end, Ed Glenn, making a good block, and Priester just breaks tackles and goes inside.
And Getz making that block down at the 4-yard line. Here comes Nelson Welch after the 15-yard run by Raymond Priester. Welch for the extra point. It's good, and we are dead even in Death Valley. We're all tied up at 7, 3:16 left to play in the first half between the Gamecocks and the Tigers. Welcome back to Clemson, South Carolina, where we're all even. 7-7, 3:16 to play first half. Jeff Sauvé prepares to kick off as you see the scoring drive capped off by Raymond Priester. 15-yard touchdown run. This is Reggie Richardson and Brandon Bennett deep. It is Bennett with the football. Bennett breaks a couple of tackles, and Brennan across the 35 to the 38-yard line. David Zeiler makes the tackle on special teams. Coming up at halftime, we will have our play of the week, our player of the week, also the best of the ACC. One for the books. Look back in Atlantic Coast Conference history. All that coming up just a couple of minutes at halftime. Also a special interview that we'll be telling you about just a couple of minutes. Mike Reddick now in the backfield for South Carolina. They've got 3:09 to move the football. Dead even at 7. Tannehill. It's time. Got a wide open receiver, and it goes through the hands of Mike Reddick. He was wide open, and I think he started seeing the end zone before he caught that football, Bill.
Well, Mike, they sent 5 receivers out, and they send Reddick right down the middle, and there's no defender there. He's tied on to a linebacker. Tim Jones had the responsibility of covering Reddick, and that was just a mismatch. And it was just wide open, and Tannehill just overthrew him.
Tannehill and Reddick will be talking about that at halftime. What might have been 9 for 15 so far in the game for Steve Tannehill. Tannehill escapes pressure. He's got Toby Cates again. Cates breaks a couple of tackles and is down in the Clemson territory, out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Andre Carter knocks him out on the far sideline.
Well, again, Mike, they're sending 5 receivers out. That time they dragged Cates from across the field, the other side of the field. Here he comes, number 12. That's a missed tackle, and there's Andre Cardinal. That's Brian Dawkins making the stop, along with Andre Carter.
It is first down at the 31-yard line. Under 3 minutes to play first half. All tied at 7. Tim Jones. Tim Jones says, hey, I'm in the backfield. He got back, and here's Brandon Bennett. Down to about the 22. Nice game for Bennett. Boy, Tim Jones just did get back.
Well, that's an unusual play. When you don't touch anyone, there's no penalty. No penalty whatsoever. Had he have touched someone, look, he goes right through, then he goes back. The ball is not snapped. And, of course, he gets back onside. And there's no penalty whatsoever.
You got to believe the center, Vincent Dinkins, thought hard about snapping it when he saw Jones back there. This is Bennett down across the 20 to the 19. He's got enough for a first down. Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouses invite you to come by and register for a trip for 2 to the Outback Steakhouse Gator Bowl. Airfare, accommodations, tickets, all provided by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. First down at the 19-yard line for the South Carolina Gamecocks. 2:04 to play, first half. Tied at 7. Brandon Bennett, 10 carries, 32 yards. Somebody moved up front. Flags fly. Steve Tannehill thinks it's Clemson jumping off sides.
Well, I believe Tannehill is changing his snap count up a little bit and making the cadence a little different in making the defense jump. Let's take a look at it. There it is right there. Steve Tannehill just changed the cadence a little bit.
Tannehill was absolutely correct. 1st and 5, ball now at the 14-yard line. Tannehill changing the play. This is Pritchett up the middle. Stanley Pritchett, touchdown, South Carolina.
What a hole made by the offensive line of South Carolina. Vincent Dinkins, the center, paves the way for Pritchett as he goes up inside. Boy, that's excellent line blocking.
A run of 14 yards by Stanley Pritchett.
Watch Dinkins, hits the center, opens a hole up for the fullback Pritchett. Boy, Vincent Dinkins did a good job, number 73, blocking the nose guard of Clemson.
Stanley Pritchett with his 8th touchdown of the season. Reed Morton is on to try the extra point. Morton's kick is absolutely perfect. South Carolina now out in front, 14-7.
Watch the center. Makes the block. Good running right there. Breaks tackles, and Pritchett goes into the end zone. That was Beckwith rather than Dinkins. That was number 53 rather than 73.
I was going to say, let's give some credit to the freshman, Paul Beckwith from Palatka, Florida, who was in there in replace of Dinkins and did a great job opening up that hole. Let's take a look at some other scores from around the country. Games being played today. Wow, what a shootout they're having in Durham, huh? 17-17, North Carolina and Duke. Syracuse out on top of Maryland, 21-3. And Virginia, great game there. And that's well, you know what that Virginia Tech-Virginia rivalry is all about, don't you, Coach?
Well, that's just like this rivalry right here that we're seeing today. A great football game here, South Carolina and Clemson.
And it's 14-7 Gamecocks. 1:31 left. Andre Humphrey and Andre Williams are back deep for the Clemson Tigers. That's Reed Morton, who has been sharing kickoff duties this season, but has done it all today. This will be Williams from the 2. Andre Williams up to about the 22-yard line. That's where the Tiger offense will put it in play. Jody Caldwell makes the stop for South Carolina. 20 yards on that kickoff return. All right, Bill, 1:25. Do you go for the tying score, or do you just play and want to come out in the second half?
Well, I would think that Tommy West is going to try to get the ball up the field and not, you know, you want to get a little momentum going in at half, and you just don't want to sit on it right now, Mike. You've got to try to move that thing down to at least field goal scoring position.
Lamont Pegues is the tailback. He's had one big run already today. This is Pegues with the football again. Priester with a pretty good block. Pegues turns the corner right up to the 30-yard line.
Well, that's just good speed by Lamont Pegues as he outruns the corner.
Gain of 7 by number 7. It'll be 2nd and 3 as Tony Watkins ran him out. See Tommy West. Can't be too displeased with his team's performance here in this first half. 2nd and 3. 1:18 to play, first half. On the option, Nealon Green did not get up enough for the first down. Got across the 30-yard line, but that's it as David Turnipseed and Aubrey Brooks make the stop.
Well, Mike, South Carolina's defensive line is getting penetration and not allowing Green to come down that line and option the end man. And when you do that, it takes the option out of the play.
Under a minute to play, first half here at Death Valley. Clock's running at 50 seconds now. 3rd down and 2. Again, the option in the pitch to Pegues. It's strung out. Pegues thrown for a loss. Clemson will have to punt it away.
That's great pursuit. Excellent pursuit.
Tony Watkins, number 24, leading tackler on this team. Ronnie Smith, outside linebacker there as well. That's Smith who makes the initial penetration.
There's Smith coming up along with Watkins. That's excellent pursuit. That's flying around the football.
Nelson Welch has had a good day punting the football today. Our pregame show today, we talked about Nelson and all the records he has set here at Clemson. He's averaged 44 yards on his punts. Flags flying. Clemson may have waited too long to get that punt off. Now 38 seconds left to go, first half.
Snap movement, but offensive line, 5 yards, still fourth down.
Illegal procedure indicated against the Dodgers.
Toby Cates will be receiving this Nelson Welch punt. He's standing at his 45-yard line, and South Carolina is going to take a timeout and talk about what they want to do on this punt. They have blocked a few this year, and it's something that they have done very, very well. Lee Wiggins has 5 blocked kicks so far this season, and with 38 seconds left, as you look at the penalties and the yards, just about even. Would you put the punt block on here? 38 seconds to go before the half.
Well, Toby, Kobe Cates back there, I believe that I would go ahead and try to block it with this minimum amount of time left in the half. Also, I believe that Toby Cates is averaging a little over 6 yards per return. He could have an opportunity to fake the block, hold everyone up, and then let Cates get back up the field and attempt a long field goal. Because Reed is a good kicker.
Certainly with Tannehill's arm, you got to think they could get in Reed Morton's field goal range. Brad Scott wanted to make sure everybody on this punt team was on the same page, so he took the timeout. 14-7 South Carolina, 38 seconds until halftime. You got to look there at Toby Cates, who's caught a touchdown pass today from Steve Tannehill. Welch gets the punt away. It takes a big Clemson roll, rolls dead about at the 45-yard line, and also took 11 seconds off the clock as well on that punt.
Well, Welch was smart. He punted away from Cates to not give him any opportunity to get the ball back up the field.
Only a 34-yard punt by Nelson Welch, but very effective, as you saw. And there's Toby Cates. No doubt he'll have the attention of Steve Tannehill and also that South Carolina defense, or rather Clemson defense. The cornerbacks, Dexter McLeon, Peter Ford. Tannehill throwing on first down. Across the middle to Bennett. Bennett stopped just about at the first down marker at the 46-yard line. Andier McCoy makes the stop.
Well, again, Mike, they're using 5 receivers out. 5 receivers are coming out, and they're putting pressure, making the linebackers have to cover underneath.
Well, South Carolina is pretty serious about trying to get some kind of points on here. They've called another timeout.
When they host UNC Greensboro at 2 o'clock in Gilded Gym.
16 seconds left to play first half. They have no timeouts remaining, so they'll have to throw some kind of pass here where if they complete it, they can get the clock stopped.
Well, I think, again, Clemson's going to be laying off, so they're probably going to hit something up underneath. A little short pass, hoping he can run up in there.
See on the monitor that Steve, or on the screen rather, Steve Tannehill chasing Todd Ellis. Wow, Todd Ellis had a great career here. Fantastic. But look at Tannehill, who's a junior, be back next year. Needs 2 touchdown passes to equal Ellis's season mark of 20. Tannehill with 1 touchdown pass today to Toby Cates.
Second down and 1.
Second down and 1. That's not important. The clock is. Tannehill going deep and overshoots Monty Means down around the 21-yard line. Still 10 seconds left on the clock. Still time to complete a pass and kick a field goal.
That was a deep out pattern. I thought they'd go underneath a little bit since Clemson was playing off with their secondary, giving them a lot of cushion.
Tannehill gets the word from Brad Scott on the sideline. Ricky Bussell, the offensive coordinator, up here in the press box. Tannehill needs to hit this pass to get in the field goal range. And he's not going to have a chance. Brett Williams all over Steve Tannehill. And that'll be the final play of the first half.
That was an excellent play by Brett Williams, number 92, from his defensive tackle position. Just came in. That's what they've got to do, is put pressure on Tannehill. Watch number 92. Just bull rushes, goes over number 39, Pritchett, and makes the sack on Tannehill.
Everything you would expect in this great battle in the Palmetto State. South Carolina leads Clemson by a touchdown, 14-7. We're at halftime.
Today's Exxon ACC Game of the Week is brought to you by your neighborhood Exxon dealers and distributors, who invite you to stop by for the reliable performance of Exxon 93 Supreme Gasoline. Rely on the Tiger. By the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company, the vision to power your dreams. By Winn-Dixie, the low-price leader. By Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Lowe's knows home improvement. By Burger King, home of Whopper values. Get your burger's worth at Burger King. And by the all-new Ford Windstar. The future of minivans begins today.
Our Molson Ice Player of the Week is Marcus Wall from North Carolina. Wall, a junior wide receiver from Fayetteville, North Carolina, had a career day against Wake Forest. On the day, he caught 7 passes for 148 yards and 3 touchdowns. Wall's touchdowns covered 19, 66, and 29 yards as the Tar Heels beat the Deacons 50-0. Thanks to the play of Marcus Wall, our Molson Ice Player of the Week. Well, we're having some big plays in this game, that's for sure. South Carolina leading Clemson at halftime, 14-7. We've had a couple of big touchdown runs from the fullbacks, and then we had a Steve Tannehill touchdown pass to one Toby Cates, and that accounts for our 14-7 score right now at halftime. Both defensive have been playing absolutely fantastic. Right now, let's take a second, go back a week ago, and look at our play of the week. Our Hardy's Play of the Week comes from Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh. Last Saturday, Duke at NC State. Duke's ahead late in the game, 23-17. But Terry Harvey finds a wide-open Mike Guffey for an NC State touchdown. Steve Vidatek nails the point after, and the Wolfpack upset 18th-ranked Duke. The win keeps State's ACC title hopes alive with the Florida State matchup tonight. The touchdown pass, Harvey to Guffey, is our Hardy's Play of the Week. By the way, Terry Harvey may not be able to play tonight in that big ACC game, Florida State at NC State. Well, everybody's still healthy in this game and still holding their breaths. It's still very much up and down. A touchdown separates Clemson and South Carolina. We are at halftime here in Death Valley, and we'll be back with one for the books in just a moment when we return to Clemson.
Delta, the airline of ACC country, is proud to bring you another ACC football one for the books. The 1994 season started with a golden touch as Fred Goldsmith took over at Duke and led the new-look Blue Devils on an unbelievable ride. Goldsmith unleashed running back Robert Baldwin in Week 1 against Maryland. Baldwin responded with the best day ever by a Duke running back, rushing for 238 yards on 33 carries and scoring 4 times as Duke rolled over Maryland 49-16. Week 2 saw Maryland play host to Florida State. The Terrapins became the first team in the ACC to lead the Seminoles at halftime. This 38-yard touchdown pass to G. Roy Simon from Scott Milanovich put Maryland ahead 20-17 at the break. Danny Cannell woke up the Seminole offense in the second half, and Florida State pounced on Maryland 52-20 in College Park. September 17th, Clemson's new head coach Tommy West took his Tigers to Charlottesville to face Virginia. Clemson had lost only once in school history to the Cavaliers, but in 1994, Virginia would get win number 2. Rafael Garcia hits this 19-yard field goal with 26 seconds remaining for a 9-6 Cavalier win. October 8th saw one of the most prestigious records at North Carolina fall. Quarterback Jason Stanisiak ran his way into the record books against Georgia Tech on this play, passing legendary Tar Heel Charlie Choo-Choo Justice in career total offensive yardage. Later that day in Winston-Salem, Wake Forest hosted Virginia. Wake linebacker Mike Neubiser picks off a micro pass and rambles 55 yards, diving in for Wake's only touchdown in Virginia's 42-6 win. On October 15th, the Duke bandwagon was growing larger. The Blue Devils were undefeated and in the top 25 when Ray Farmer blocked this punt for a score late in the fourth quarter. Duke improves to 6-0 and beat the Clemson Tigers 19-13. Duke beat Wake Forest the following week, setting up a battle between the Blue Devils and Florida State. This game was decided on defense. The Seminoles shut down Robert Baldwin and the Duke running game all day long. Danny Cannell would break out of a mini slump, passing for 394 yards and 4 touchdowns as Florida State took the inside track to their third straight ACC title. Last Saturday night, NC State hosted Duke in a battle for second place in the league. Down 23-17 in the fourth, Terry Harvey found a wide-open Mike Guffey in the end zone for a touchdown and a 24-23 Wolfpack lead. But the Blue Devils had a chance. With time running out, Tom Cochran's 51-yard field goal sailed wide left, and NC State would hold on for a 24-23 upset of 18th-ranked Duke. This has been another ACC Football One for the Books, brought to you by Delta. At Delta, you'll love the way we fly.
And it has indeed been a fantastic football season. It's flown by. Hard to believe it's gone by this fast. Still another ACC game left after today. NC State will play Virginia on the day after Thanksgiving. But we've had a lot of thrills and a lot of memories to take with us this fall after this football season. Well, one of the things we do each week at halftime, let's take a moment to check on the statistical leaders around the ACC. And yeah, there have been some changes this week.
Let's start our Pepsi Best of the ACC with a look at quarterbacks. Some changes in this category. Scott Milanovic of Maryland has moved ahead of Mike Groh of the University of Virginia. Terry Harvey of NC State is number 3. When we look at the rushers, we're still talking about Robert Baldwin averaging over 115 yards a game for Duke. Warwick Dunn of Florida State is number 2 in that category. The league's leading receiver is G-Roy Simon of Maryland. Kes McCorvey of Florida State's number 2. Jermaine Lewis of Maryland is number 3. The league's leading tackler is Ratcliffe Thomas of Maryland. And that is the Pepsi Best of the ACC.
We're at halftime, 14-7, South Carolina over Clemson. We'll be back to Death Valley, but first, this word from your local ACC station.
Exxon Company USA's commitment to youth and education was never more evident than during this year's ACC football season. Through Exxon ACC Kids and College Outreach activities, over 1,600 at-risk students were able to live the dream of experiencing collegiate life. Selected based on achievement of predetermined academic goals, these students toured ACC campuses, interacted with student athletes, and attended a football game. Through efforts like this, and by contributing over $24 million nationally to educational projects, Exxon is making a difference in the lives of at-risk students.
Well, you got a glimpse of them in that spot there. We're pleased to welcome to our broadcast booth today Jim Carter, who's the National Sales Manager with the Exxon Company USA, and also Fred Barakat is here, who is the Associate Commissioner of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Gentlemen, welcome. No doubt who you're pulling for today. Boy, I tell you, you came wearing the orange and blue today, didn't you?
Well, Mike, it's great to be back in ACC country, in particular here at Clemson. You know, it's great for me to be home, and I'm certainly an involved fan here today.
No doubt about that. And all year long, we have been really impressed with Exxon's involvement in ACC football, and really appreciate all you guys do for our football.
Well, thanks. You know, it's been our pleasure to be involved with the ACC again. This is our 4th year with their outreach programs, and this year each week we recognize a football player for his involvement in community activities with our Exxon Community Spirit Award. Also, we're involved again with the Exxon ACC Kids and College program that you just saw there. And what we're doing is bringing kids, deserving kids, to ACC campuses. They get an opportunity to visit with students, tour the campus, and hopefully establish some educational goals at this formative stage in their lives.
And I know there's some projects here at Clemson that you're working on.
Well, as a Clemson graduate, I have a lot of interest here. You know, there are a lot of traditions at Clemson, and one is family involvement. My father was a 1940 graduate of Clemson, and my brother Bill graduated in 1965. And we wanted to do something to honor and memorialize our father and also do something for the community. And with Exxon's matching grants programs, it makes it very easy to give to your alma mater. And we chose to establish the James R. Carter Scholarship Fund here. And it's currently funding 2 full scholarships for students at Clemson.
Well, thanks a lot. We really appreciate that. And Fred, I know you're appreciative from the conference what Exxon has meant to this football program and to the league as a whole?
Mike, Exxon has been a tremendous corporate partner for the ACC, and we thank Jim and Exxon Corporation for all they do. We're especially gratified to be part of the program with the kids in the college program, and without Exxon's resources, there wouldn't be any program. They've been very good for us, they're good for college football, and we hope to continue a long and lasting relationship.
Fred and Jim, thanks so much for stopping by today. Enjoy the second half. Thanks, we'll continue our halftime activities now. It's time for the Jefferson Pilot scoreboard. Jefferson Pilot, with a vision to power your dreams. Look at Duke over North Carolina in the second quarter. Wake Forest and Georgia Tech are scoreless in Atlanta today. Virginia and Virginia Tech, oh, they're having a battle. Number 5, Miami. Temple's giving them a fight early in that game. Syracuse leading Maryland. Tennessee leads Kentucky 10-0. That is in the second quarter as well. 14-7 is our score. We're at halftime. I'm joined again now by head coach Bill Dooley, who's coaching us up here in the booth today. And, Coach, what I tell you, the first half, a defensive battle, but like we said, a couple of big plays, the difference.
Well, Toby Cates is really giving the big plays to South Carolina. You know, they're moving him around, they're getting him inside, and that four, they're matching him up with the linebacker.
Let's take a look at the 3 scoring plays. First, Steve Tannehill to Toby Cates.
He has inside position on the strong safety from Clemson, and just Tannehill puts the ball right on the money to Cates.
And then, of course, the fullback, Raymond Priester, the freshman, he's having a great season.
Well, he certainly is. The Clemson coaches really are high on Priester.
And how about the fullback, Pritchett, Stanley Pritchett of South Carolina?
Well, the South Carolina offensive line really came off the ball, and, of course, Pritchett sticks it right in the end zone.
Well, this accounts for the 3 scores. Here are our Ford first half stats. Rushing yards, well, South Carolina yet to get it on track. The big difference in passing yards.
Well, that's exactly right. But, you know, you see only 24 yards for South Carolina, but they have been sacked 3 times. Clemson has taken away about 50 yards of them.
14-7 is our score. We're at halftime. The team's coming back on the field. We're getting ready for the second half here in Death Valley.
Jefferson Pilot Sports exclusive coverage of the Exxon ACC Game of the Week is brought to you by Exxon, where people are stopping by for the reliable performance of Exxon 93 Supreme Gasoline. Rely on the Tiger. By Lee Apparel, maker of regular, relaxed, and easy-fit jeans and casual pants. Lee is the brand that fits. By Pepsi. Be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. By Hardee's, your tailgating headquarters and a proud partner with the Atlantic Coast Conference. By your Carolina Chrysler Plymouth dealer, home of the minivan store. And by Delta Airlines, the airline of ACC country. You'll love the way we fly.
Back in Clemson, South Carolina, the South Carolina radio announcer is Bob Fulton. He is retiring after this year. 43 years of calling Gamecock sports. They had a special ceremony for him just a moment ago at halftime.
Michael has a Clemson jersey for you with your name across the back and with number 43 representing the number of years which you have broadcast South Carolina athletic events. Hold it up high.
Bob Fulton, certainly one of the greats in this business. His booth is right beside us, and he hadn't made it back yet, but he'll be back soon and calling the second half of this game as Jeff Sauvé gets set to kick off for the Clemson Tigers. 14-7. Gamecocks out on top. This will be Bennett. Bennett a yard deep in the end zone. Oh, and he's going to throw it across the field. That was a lateral. This is Reggie Richardson. It fooled the Clemson defense. Richardson at the 20. Richardson down to the 6-yard line. Oh, my, Bill.
What a great play. That's one of the old plays out of my book, Mike. The lateral on the kickoff. You know, he was tackled by his own man. He fell over his own man. Richardson, I believe. All right, no, it was Nick Lowe, number 11. He fell right over the back of him. Watch this. Throws it right out. My gosh, what a play. Look at that wall set up. Good block there by number 16.
You see a play like that and you wonder, hey, why do teams do this more often? Boy, you talk about a lightning strike at the start of the second half. My goodness.
What a surprise. You normally do that late in the game.
Daryl Nicklow, you saw on the sideline, shaking up just a little bit. Pritchett and Bennett in the backfield. 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. Wow, this crowd is in shock. This is Bennett on the toss sweep. Bennett, touchdown. Brandon Bennett.
Well, that was a sweep and just good blocking up front. No one laid a hand on Bennett when he went into the end zone. The offensive line just came off with a lead blocker. Let's take a look at it, Mike. That's good blocking. There's Pritchett leading. Oh, excellent protection up front. Oh, they stick it in there and just come off the ball very well.
You ought to see the coach up here in the booth hunkered down. That was a Bill Dooley play, the kickoff special play, and that toss sweep. Reed Morton to attempt the extra point. Lightning has really struck here in Clemson early. 21-7, South Carolina over Clemson. Let's go back and take a look at this kickoff return play. You know they worked on it all week. Here's Brandon Bennett.
He's got the wall set up, throws it over. Wow, look at the blocks made by the people in the wall. There's Benji, the fullback, being blocked, number 40. And watch number 11. Bennett falls right over number 11's back. Nicklow, that's the receiver, Daryl Nicklow, or else he would have scored.
And here's the scoring play. The old simple toss sweep, the fullback leading the way.
But look at the blocking up front, Mike. No one puts a hand on Bennett when he goes into the end zone.
Brandon Bennett. Bennett scoring the touchdown that put the Gamecocks out in front, 21-7. Now it'll be Reed Morton kicking off. Tony Horn is now one of the deep men. Andre Humphrey is alongside him. Andre Williams returned the kickoffs in the first half, and he's been replaced now by Tony Horn. It's going to be Humphrey, I believe, who will make this return. Takes it at the 10. Humphrey with a good spin move across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Chris Abrams on the stop for South Carolina. And the Tigers need to get some offense going here after the quick strike by South Carolina. 21 yards on that kickoff return.
Let's see, Mike, if they come out and open it up a little bit, throw on first down, or get the ball out on the perimeter. Because up inside, they've been very, very tough, South Carolina.
Well, in a rival game like this, you don't hold anything back. Average yards on first down, you can see pretty good numbers. But Lamont Pegues doesn't equal that. He gets just a couple. Mike Washington, number 94, and on the stop for South Carolina. Gain of 3, it'll be 2nd and 7 for Clemson. They're trying to get their breath back after what's happened to them early in this second half. Priester and Pegues, the setbacks in the I formation. Green to throw. Green way short on that pass. Tony Watkins dove for it. He was actually the closest one there to it.
Well, that was a sprint out. Elon Green was sprinting out and ran the curl pattern and just couldn't get the ball in there.
Pass was intended for Tony Horn, but as you saw, way underthrown. And it brings up 3rd and 7. Antoine Wyatt, who has been coming in on third down passing plays in this game, is in the lineup for the Clemson Tigers. Green's pass intended for Crooks. It's way overthrown out of bounds. Nelson Welch will have to come on and punt it away for Clemson. It's 3 and out for the Tigers.
Well, they put in their nickelback, Lee Wiggins, number 27, South Carolina did, and they had a number of people in coverage that time. Didn't have a whole lot of area to throw the football in.
Nelson Welch, 5 punts today. Hit 1 for 50 yards. Has not had a chance to attempt a field goal. Welch really sails this one. Cates thought about calling for a fair catch, decided against it. And makes a pretty good return. He's breaks some tackles, and there goes Toby Cates. One man to beat. And Cates is ridden out of bounds at the 8-yard line, but hold on, there is a flag back at the 35-yard Dexter McLean used his speed to run him out of bounds. Let's see if we'll bring this one back.
Well, Mike, they had that wall set up about as pretty as you could get a wall set up. Of course, Toby Cates had the speed to get outside.
Against the white team on the return, 10 yards from the spot.
Watch Cates now as he heads out and gets outside the wall right here. Missed tackle. He's in the wall. And Dexter McLean, number 9. He's going to run him down.
21-7. South Carolina leads Clemson. We're early in the third quarter. This telecast is brought to you in part by Hardee's, your tailgating headquarters and a proud partner with the ACC. First down for South Carolina's Gamecocks. Mike Reddick is back in the backfield, number 25. Now goes out as a wide receiver. No backs for Steve Tannehill. Lots of time, lots of room in front of him. Tannehill all the way across midfield to the Clemson 49-yard line before Tim Jones runs him out of bounds or tackles him after 27 yards on the game. And Steve Tannehill had nobody in front of him.
Well, the reason that play was very effective, Clemson was playing man coverage underneath and had their backs turned to Steve Tannehill. Tannehill broke the rush and just took off running. There was no one seeing him run that football.
Tannehill with Reddick in the backfield. First down. And this is Reddick right up the middle. Reddick only maybe about a yard. Anye McCrory on the stop. Boy, Steve Tannehill has really been impressive in this football game today.
Well, he certainly has. When you recognize man under coverage and those defenders turn their back, I mean, you can just take off, run with the ball. And Tannehill did it.
Duke still out in front of North Carolina at the half, 24-17. Tennessee all over Kentucky in the second quarter. Virginia Tech trailing Virginia. That's at halftime. Our score is 21-7. On second down, Tannehill. He wants it all. Pass is picked off. Brian Dawkins has it. Dawkins with the big play. Has it up to the 40-yard line. There is a penalty flag down. That's second interception off of Steve Tannehill today.
Well, we'll take a look. Clemson's employing the same defense. They're playing man under with the two safeties being free. And there's Dawkins, number 20, comes up with the play. It looks like
one of the wide receivers was called for a penalty on the play of South Carolina, face mask. Looked like it might have been Monty Means, number 80. Louis Solomon now in at quarterback for Clemson, trying to jumpstart the offense. Solomon, a great option quarterback, and he's going to throw it. He tucks it down now. Louis Solomon, who has what they call quick feet. And he shows it there as he runs for a Clemson Tiger first down. Stacey Evans on the stop.
Well, Mike, this is what they've got to do. They've got to come out and loosen up the South Carolina defense. Solomon fakes misdirection. He's looking for a receiver, can't find him, and pulls the ball down. Good blocking out in front. And watch Louis turn it on and get the needed yardage for the first down.
First and 10 at the 33-yard line. This is Pegues. Pegues gets the corner turn. Pegues breaks the tackle. Flag is down. Pegues run out of bounds at the 18-yard line, but there is a flag down.
I believe they're going to call holding on the wide receiver blocking on South Carolina defender. Let's take a look at it. They're getting the ball outside now. This is what you've got to do, is get the ball on the perimeter. Watch Pegues get outside. Let's see if we can see.
Back in the back during the run by the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still first down.
That's Guess, Harry Guess, number 21, blocking in the back, downfield.
Well, the penalty, a costly one. Louis Solomon has played part-time this year and is the third leading rusher on this team with 292 yards. Tells you something about his running ability. It'll still be first down as the ball's moved back to the 36-yard line. First and 13
for the Tigers. Solomon on play action. Got a receiver open. Marcus Hinton dropped the football.
He was wide open, Mike, and just dropped the ball right in his hands. Again, Clemson's doing what they need to do. First down, they throw the ball, play action pass. Let's take a look at number 6, Hinton, the wide receiver. Does a good job coming back. Ball's right in there, but he doesn't concentrate on it and drops it.
It'll bring up second down and 13. Hinton comes out of the game now. Kenyon Crooks, the freshman, in to replace him. Fumble. Solomon picks it up, and it'll be no gain. Aubrey Brooks there to cover it up. Sometimes you have a new quarterback in the game. There are problems with the center exchange, but Clemson can ill afford that.
Well, I believe Clemson was going deep that time and fumbled the automatic exchange. Now South Carolina's going to put in their nickel defense. They're sending number 27, Lee Wiggins, in the ball game, anticipating the pass. They're going to defend against the pass.
Well, and Clemson wants to talk about what they're going to run against that nickel defense. They've called timeout with 3rd and 14. The ball's on their own 37-yard line. Our score is 21-7, South Carolina in front of Clemson. We'll be back, but first a word from your local ACC station. There's a look at Nealon Green, who had been talking to the trainers a moment ago. He came off holding his shoulder a couple of series ago, and no word on whether he's hurt or not, but certainly Louis Solomon's coming there and jump-started the offense a little bit. The quarterback draw here on 3rd down. Good effort by Solomon. Not enough for the first down, but Bill, you might believe that they would go for it and try to get the first down here. They need to keep a drive alive.
Well, I believe they will, and that was a good call by the Clemson offensive staff, a quarterback draw.
And now looks like another penalty. This time a legal procedure against Clemson is going to negate the nice gain by Louis Solomon. It'll make it even tougher.
Formation against the offense. They had 5 men in the backfield. Still 3rd down.
We have word that Nealon Green did re-injure that shoulder. You know, he partially separated it a couple of weeks ago, and it had not been full strength. We don't know if he'll return, but Louis Solomon at the controls right now. The 5'10" junior from Somerset, New Jersey. And he's got a tough order. 3rd down and 18 yards to go. Solomon with Hinton.
What a catch!
Marcus Hinton stretched out for that one. The junior from Powder Springs, Georgia. And you know, the knock on Solomon is he's not a good passer, but that time he laid the ball right on the money.
Well, that was a great move.
And now they're calling it incomplete, I believe.
Here it is. Watch Hinton go up in the air and come down with the ball.
And there you see the ball did hit the ground. Great call by the official. You bounced out, but you can't fault Marcus Hinton. What an effort. Nelson Welch trying to pin South Carolina deep, and it goes into the end zone. Touchback. Let's take a look again at Marcus Hinton. What an effort.
He really stretches out, but there you see the ball come right out of his hands, Mike.
The winner of our season-long Outback Steakhouse Gator Bowl getaway promotion is Norman Epps from Durham, North Carolina. He has won a trip for 2, including game tickets, hotel, and airfare. Congratulations to Norman Epps of Durham. He's headed to the Gator Bowl. In all probability, we'll see an ACC team there. First down now for the South Carolina Gamecocks. The 20-yard line. They lead 21-7. This is Bennett. Bennett spinning his way close to the 30-yard line. Andre Carter makes the stop, but not before Bennett gains 9 yards on the play.
Well, he just cut this one back, Mike. And again, the offensive line of South Carolina just comes off the ball and opens a good crease for Brandon Bennett.
Bennett now with 47 yards rushing on 12 carries. Some movement on the interior of the line. We'll see if Clemson was drawn off or if they jump first.
That's defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
As we had said earlier, I believe Tannehill's just changing up the cadence a little bit and making Clemson jump off sides.
Number 92, Brett Williams, is the one who jumped offside. That gives it first down for South Carolina. And again, this is Bennett. Bennett, who's starting to get a little momentum here, gets a couple before Mike Barber stops him, one of those fine senior linebackers for the Clemson Tigers.
Tackled by number 12, Mike Barber.
Bill, how much movement is an offensive player allowed before a penalty is called? Particularly thinking about the quarterback.
Well, the quarterback could move only his head and shoulders a little bit, but not to simulate the start of a play. It's his voice that changes, makes him jump.
Tannehill dropped the football, got it back, and he has got all kinds of time. An eternity. Oh, my. Monty Means had touchdown written all over that ball, but he couldn't hold on to it. And that play was made by the fact of the offensive line giving Steve Tannehill all kinds of time.
Well, just give credit to the good protection and also give credit to Steve Tannehill not losing his poise. He hangs in there, and watch this ball. It's right on the money. Gee, he'd like to have that one back. I don't know how many times. That was Means, number 80, dropping the ball.
It's now 3rd and 7. Tannehill's 0 for 2 in this half. Can't fault Steve on that last one. Tannehill again with lots of room in front of him. He's got the first down and more. Tannehill showing some mobility, gets down close to the 30-yard line before Raymond White stopped him. Steve Tannehill is finding lots of running room there.
Well, again, it's an idea that the rush, watch the rush, come inside. There's no one out there to contain Tannehill. This was a quarterback run all the way. Number 80 makes an excellent block to spring him loose. Number 80 Means.
Monty Means, the one who dropped that pass a minute ago, makes up for it. Says, Steve, hey, I'll throw a block for you anyway. First down at the 31-yard line. This is Bennett out of the eye. Bennett down close to the 26 before Wardell Rouse is able to corral him. And now South Carolina starting to get that 5-6 yards on first down, which gives them a lot of options for the rest of the series.
Well, it certainly does, because when you get the good yardage on first down, then you're in command. You run the plays that you want to run.
Steve Tannehill may have twisted an ankle on that run. He is limping a little bit and in some pain out there, trying to gut it out right now on 2nd and 5. Gives to his fullback, Pritchett. Pritchett close to a first down around the 20-yard line. Tim Jones on the stop. Tannehill walking off the effects of that tackle a moment ago.
Mike, I've been impressed by the offensive line of South Carolina. They've been able to move the Clemson defensive line back, which has made their offense very effective.
Steve Tannehill has 58 yards rushing this half. You saw number 73 there a moment ago. That's Vincent Dinkins. He's the leader on that offensive line. And you see that's about how far they got to go for a first down. 3rd and maybe 6 inches. Steve Tannehill, who has really matured over the last year, came in here on this field as a freshman, passed South Carolina to a win over Clemson. Matter of fact, the last 3 years, the team that's on the road has won this great rival game. 3rd and a couple of inches for the Gamecocks. Ball's at the 21-yard line. Well, the play clock was just about to run out, and so Tannehill calls timeout.
Very wisely, Mike, he called timeout.
You don't want it to be 3rd and 5, and it can be 3rd and about 6 inches. So a smart move by Steve Tannehill to call timeout. Tannehill, who, as we said, has, yeah, you may remember that's in reference to the long hair and the ponytail that he had a couple of years, but you don't see that now. And
Brad Scott says that he really likes this quarterback, Steve Tannehill, and really enjoys working with him and is really proud of how far he has come this season, maturing and being a real leader of this football team, not only by his playmaking, but a leader in the huddle as well.
Well, they said he's become a real student of the game, Mike, that he studies film a great deal, and that, as you mentioned, has assumed a leadership role with his teammates. And that's what you're looking for at quarterback.
Well, Tannehill now, after making the smart call when the play clock are about to run out, 3rd and a couple of inches for a Gamecock first down. They are driving the balls at the 21-yard line. The big play, a Tannehill run. This is Pritchett, the fullback. He's got the first down and about a yard to spare. Stanley Pritchett, who has a touchdown today. That was just one of those straight ahead.
Take a look at it. He just breaks it outside. He finds that little crease outside, Mike. And as you mentioned, he gets about a yard and a half more than what's needed for the first down.
Now you're inside the red zone again, inside that 20. And now's where the Clemson Tiger defense really has to rise up. Can ill afford to be down 28-7. This is Bennett. Bennett's gang tackled at about the 18. Tim Jones leading the way along with the rest of that linebacker core, and Lamarick Simpson up front as well. Carlos Curry. Let's take a check of some scores of other games. Florida Vanderbilt scoreless first quarter. Ohio State out in front of Michigan. That's in the 3rd quarter. Big rival game there. Tennessee all over the Kentucky Wildcats in the 3rd quarter, 24-0. Our score is 21-7. South Carolina's threatening. 2nd down and 9. Play action, Tannehill. Wanted to screen one way, now comes back to Pritchett on the right side. Pritchett inside the 10 to the 9 has his helmet knocked off by Brian Dawkins, who's a real headhunter.
Well, that was a very effective play. Pritchett just takes a screen pass. Let's take a look at it. Tannehill looks him off, throws over to number 39, Pritchett on the screen. Watch the block by number 76, and Vincent Dimkins is out in front, but can't make the block. Number 76 was Herring.
Delvin Herring, the left guard, as you said, Bill, made one of the key blocks on that play. It is now 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. Tannehill, some close receivers, top of your screen. Pritchett and Bennett in the backfield behind him. Tannehill to throw. Overshoots Toby Cates. Just off his fingertips. Good coverage on the play from Brian Dawkins.
Well, this is something new that they've employed, putting Toby Cates inside in the slot. Normally he's been the outside man, and they've been getting the kind of matchups that they want. Of course, they headed against Dawkins, number 20, the strong safety.
This is the 11th play of this drive. It's really eaten up a lot of clock here in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and goal from the 9-yard line. Pritchett up the middle.
No room on that one.
Carlos Curry, the middle guard, was there.
Clemson defense really stiffened on that particular play. The defensive front didn't allow any running room at all for Carlos Pritchett.
Big 3rd down play here. Clemson would love to hold them to a field goal try here. 3rd and 7. 3rd and goal. Mike Reddick is back in the game in the backfield. He's been coming in on passing situations for South Carolina. Tannehill across the middle. Monty Means, the pass was thrown slightly behind him, and Means could not come up with the grab.
Well, Clemson that time sent in their nickel defense, but they blitzed from it. That was a change of pace. There's Tannehill, good, gets his hands up. Excellent play by the Clemson defensive lineman. He got his hands up as Tannehill cocked his arm, knocks the ball away.
Well, Reed Morton will come on and try a field goal of 24 yards. He is 5 of 6 from 29 and in. Morton's kick
is good and put another 3 on the board for South Carolina. The Gamecocks now lead the Tigers 24-7 in this great rivalry, the battle for bragging rights in the Palmetto State. ACC football is brought to you in part by Siemens. For leading-edge technologies in electronic and electrical engineering, depend on Siemens Precision Thinking. Reed Morton preparing to kick off now. Tony Horn and Andre Humphrey stand back deep to receive it for the Clemson Tigers. Tigers trail it now 24-7. Kick is high and short. Pooch kick taken up at the 32-yard line. Fumble. I believe South Carolina may have it.
I believe you're right, Mike.
Chris Alford is being credited with the recovery here.
Let's take a look at it. He drops the ball. He doesn't have control of it. And watch number 17, Chris Alford, come up with it.
That's Brad Pope, who fumbled the football, number 31 for Clemson. There's also an injured Tiger down. Matt Reeves is injured on the field at the moment. A big, big break. And you know, turnovers have been something that Clemson has not done all season long, and we've seen a couple of them here today.
Well, it's unbelievable.
That scoring drive, 13 plays, 73 yards, all but 10 of it on the ground. Reed Morton, a 24-yard field goal. And Clemson's defense is going to be called on again to rise up. As you see Matt Reeves, who was involved in that pileup trying to dive for the ball when the ball popped loose out of the arms of Brad Pope, who was one of the up backs. And I guess that's one of the advantages of those pooch kicks, Bill, is you try to get somebody who isn't really used to handling the football all that much to catch it and have to run it back.
Well, that's exactly right. And if they're too close to you, what you need to do is signal for a fair catch, and they will get to give you 2 yards to catch that football. Mike, you talked earlier about the turnover margin. Clemson is plus 18 in turnovers, and all of a sudden in this ball game they've come up and they commit 2 turnovers. They lead the nation in turnovers right now. Lead the nation in turnovers, and they've had 2 fumbles or 2 turnovers in this ball game. Not characteristic of a Clemson football team.
No, it's not, and the turnovers have come back to haunt them, so to speak, as a nice hand for Matt Reeves, the junior from Anderson, South Carolina. Here comes the Gamecock offense. This home-standing Tiger crowd imploring the defense to come up with a stand here. Ball's at the 25-yard line. First down. To Bennett. Bennett to throw it again. He wants Tannehill. I mean, they are pulling every play out of the book today.
All of them, but did you see Andre Humphreys? He was right there on that coverage.
I'm not sure how often Steve Tannehill's been a wide receiver, too.
Let's take a look at it. There's Bennett throwing out, and watch Humphreys right there, number 34. He almost made the interception on that football.
Well, Brandon Bennett has shown us he can not only catch the football and run the football. There you see Humphrey. He can throw it as well. And again, we have movement up front, and the yellow flags fly.
Again, that's a case of Tannehill changing his voice inflection, making the defense jump.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty.
Well, you called it, Bill. And I guess if the voice count is starting to really pull people off sides, that you keep going with those long snap counts.
Well, you can see right there in the picture, the rerun.
Second down, right up the middle, the fullback. Wardell Rouse is on the stop of Brandon Bennett, rather, who had the football. It will not be a first down. It will be third down and a couple of yards. And this is a big play right here for the Clemson defense. Maybe the play of the football game. 3rd and 3. The ball's at the 19-yard line. Tannehill changing the play. Gives to the fullback, Pritchett. And I think Pritchett might be a little bit short.
I think he is too, Mike. It'll be about a yard.
Mike Barber in on the stop along with Raymond White, number 97. Let's see if I think Reed Morton's going to be coming on the field, the field goal kicker. Morton is on the field. Morton will try a 33-yard attempt. From 30 to 39 yards. He's only tried 2 this year and hit 1 of them. 33 yards out. Reed Morton trying to put another 3 on the board for South Carolina. And he does. Reed Morton 2 for 2 in this game in field goals. And South Carolina now extends its lead 27 to 7. Still, though, Clemson 3 scores away from taking the lead. And with 2:59 to go, third quarter, that is not impossible. There you get a look at Reed Morton, who has played well today. Boston College leading West Virginia by a field goal in the third quarter. Other scores, Penn State all over Northwestern, 38 to 3 in the second quarter. Our phone number is 1-900-267-5757 for score updates. $1 per minute. You must be 18. Kids, get your parents' permission if you want to call and check on some scores going on today. Well, the Clemson Tigers will again send Humphrey and Horn back deep. With Brad Scott around his kicking team, and you wonder what play they're coming up with now. Boy, the special teams have really made a difference today for South Carolina. It just goes to show again that this football game is not only offense and defense. Special teams play a big role, as you see some of the defenders of Clemson trying to figure out a way to shut down that South Carolina offense.
Well, the special teams is 1/3 of the game, Mike. You know, you have to give credit to the Clemson defense that they have kept South Carolina, when they've had that ball down deep, from getting touchdowns. They've forced them and made them kick field goals. So that's a tribute to the South Carolina defense, really.
It'll be interesting to see here if Reed Morton will again try another pooch kick. Emery Smith is in now as one of those up backs. And it is another pooch kick. This time there's a fair catch called for, and it will be made by Brad Pope, number 31.
Well, that was a good move by Polk. That's exactly what you need to do, because they're coming right down on top of you with no time to make a decision.
And now a tough road for the Clemson offense, down 20 points. And again, it's Lewis Solomon at quarterback, the junior from Somerset, New Jersey, who showed some pretty good arm strength in the last series. But it's been a while since the Clemson offense has had the football. Play action to Pegues. Big rush. Ball comes loose, but it's ruled an incomplete pass. Stacey Evans, who has been the real star on that defensive line for South Carolina, number 93, the senior from Lawrence, South Carolina.
Well, they put quite a rush on Solomon. Stacey Evans and Chris Rump, number 58, were back there. That was a play-action pass, and I believe he was going deep with it.
Solomon 0 for 3 throwing the football now. 2nd and 10 from the 31-yard line. Solomon in the shotgun. And he's going to tuck it down and run it. There is a flag down. Solomon across the 35, but let's wait a minute. What Al Ford has to tell us. Stacey Evans was in on the stop of Lewis Solomon. Boy, it's just not going Clemson's way at all right now. Illegal procedure.
Let's take a look at it. You can't see it, but they've used this formation twice, and they've had 2 penalties each time they've used it. They had a long quarterback draw by Lewis Solomon, which was called back, and then this play, of course.
Tackles not squared up on the line of scrimmage. The illegal formation, still 2nd down.
One reason the score is 27 to 7. Look at this yards in the second half. Take a look at that. 104 to 22. South Carolina with the advantage. Wow. 2.5 minutes to play, third quarter. 2nd down, 15. And again the rush. This time it's Chris Rump.
Well, he beat the block of number 27, the fullback Priester, and Rump just went right around him. And we mentioned Stacey Evans and Chris Rump. Let's take a look at it. Number 58, watch number 27, the fullback from Clemson, could not sustain his block, and Rump just comes in and sacks Lewis Solomon. Excellent play by the defensive end, Chris Stump.
It's tough to sustain that block when you got a guy as quick as Chris Rump is.
And is strong, too, Mike.
Yeah. 3rd down and 22. That's Antoine Wyatt with the football, who was in on the 3rd and long situation. He's way short of the 1st down. And the Gamecock faithful who are here are on their feet at that defensive hold by South Carolina. There you see part of the garnet-clad crowd here today. Tickets hard to come by to this big rival matchup. Over 85,000 are here. There's Toby Cates waiting to receive. Nelson Welch's punt. Oh, Nelson nails it. Cates takes it back at the 16-yard line. Toby Cates, flags down. Cates. 3 flags are down. I think this run is going to come all the way back.
Well, you can see the clip or the hit in the back. Of course, you got to give a lot of credit to Toby Cates, and he can really turn it on and get on the corner. Well, let's take a look at it. There's Cates. Now watch the clip right coming up in your screen, right there, right in the back of the Clemson defender. Couldn't get the number on him. Whoa. But Cates did a good job of getting the ball outside to the wall.
Toby Cates going to be a tired young man at the end of this day, even if those runs come back 54 yards on this run.
There's the block right there in the back. It brings the play back. Well, Cates is a big play football player, Mike. What can you say? Receiving, running, they want to get the ball in his hands.
Well, South Carolina will have the ball. Instead of way down in Clemson territory, they're going to have it back in their own 15-yard line. 1:06 left, 3rd quarter. Clemson needs a big rally and a defensive stop to get back in this game. Tannehill gives it to his bread and butter man, Brandon Bennett. Mike Barber is there along with Darnell Stevens. Stevens makes the initial hit.
Well, South Carolina will probably run the ball a little more, trying to eat up some clock and giving the ball to Brandon Bennett and Pritchett, the big fullback.
Clemson has won 5 of the last 6 games between these two schools. And now, though, South Carolina is holding the big edge. 2nd down. And about 6 yards to go. Right up the middle. It's Pritchett. Wow. Some strong bruising running by Stanley Pritchett. He's got a South Carolina 1st down. Darnell Stevens brought him down, but not before Stanley Pritchett, 230-pound junior out of College Park, Georgia, gets the 1st down.
Mike, that's what you call attacking the tacklers. Watch Pritchett. That's good hold, but he runs through those arms, and watch those feet keep moving. They can't bring him down. That's good, tough running.
And that will be the final play of the 3rd quarter as the clock winds down. It has been all South Carolina here in this 2nd half. The Gamecocks are leading the Clemson Tigers 27-7 as we head to quarter number 4. Mike Hogwood and Bill Dooley back with you at Tiger Stadium. It's 27-7 as we head to the 4th period of play. South Carolina on offense, 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line. Steve Tannehill. Had a great game today, quarterback. On the toss sweep, this is Bennett again. Up across the 30, right at the 31-yard line and out of bounds. The Lee Apparel game summary now after 3 quarters. And that reflects the scoreboard. South Carolina leading in rushing, and the passing is way, way out of balance.
Well, complete dominance by South Carolina, both running and throwing.
27-7. 2nd and 7 after the 3-yard run by Brandon Bennett. This is Bennett again, and just as you said, Bill,
South Carolina's going to start working him a lot right now. Marvin Cross on the stop for Clemson. Not before about a 4-yard gain on the part of Brandon Bennett.
Well, I have been impressed with the offensive line of South Carolina.
Look at this. North Carolina now pulls in front of Duke 31-24 in the third quarter. Tennessee shutting out Kentucky also in the third. And Virginia now with the lead on Virginia Tech Hokies 25-16. 3rd and 2 for a Gamecock first down. Again, the toss sweep, Brandon Bennett. Bennett's close to the first down. I'm not sure he got it. Brian Dawkins tripped him up. You know where they spot the football. Bennett was 70 yards rushing today. If he gets to 100, it's almost a magic number for South Carolina. When Brandon Bennett has rushed for 100 yards, South Carolina is 10-0. They've never lost a game when Brandon Bennett has run for over 100. Let's see how he made it a first down. Got just enough.
Well, he had the speed to get outside of Rouse, number 13. They logged Rouse in, and he got outside.
Even though it's early fourth quarter, if Clemson hopes to get back in this game, the defense needs to come up with a stop or a turnover here. Don't want a long drive now. And again, this is Bennett, and Bennett is into the secondary, across midfield, and down to the 49-yard line. Another strong run by Brandon Bennett. Brian Dawkins makes the stop, but not before the Taylor, South Carolina senior gets another Gamecock first down.
Well, again, the offensive line, look at the hole they're open up in there. The first person to touch was Barber, number 12, and that was about 9 or 10 yards down the field. So the offensive line does a tremendous job blocking for Brandon Bennett.
Now 85 yards rushing for Brandon Bennett. 1 touchdown today. That came early here in the second half. This is the fullback Pritchett. And he's got some running room. A gain of 9 up the middle. Mon Wilson on the stop for 42 for Clemson. But Stanley Pritchett up the middle gives South Carolina a situation coaches love. It'd be 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 2. Pritchett with 51 yards rushing today. And who knows, we might see a smile on Brad Scott's face before long here. 2nd and 2 for the Gamecocks. Again, it's Bennett. Bennett right around the 40-yard line. Don't think he got first down yardage. Wardell Rouse on the stop. But that clock will continue to roll.
Well, that's the whole idea, Mike. They want to give the ball to their runners to eat that clock and keep it rolling.
9th play of the drive, and that's what you want when you're up by 3 scores. You want to sustain a drive and get that clock really running, as you said. It'll be 3rd and very short. About 1 yard to go for a first down. Right up the middle, Pritchett. He's close. Brett Williams, number 92, among the first to hit him for the Clemson Tiger defenders. And it will be 4th down. What do you do here, Bill? Do you go for it and keep this drive going?
Well, with that kind of lead, I'd play it safe and kick it. Try to kick them into a hole and make them go the long way.
Brad Scott was listening to you. He sends his punter, Marty Simpson, on the field.
Number 34, Andre Humphrey, back deep for the Tigers.
Simpson, of course, will be trying to angle this punt and pin Clemson back deep. Well, the ball hit about the 2 or 3 yard line and then went into the end zone. 40-yard punt for Simpson. South Carolina leads 27-7. Clemson will have the football when we come back. Mike Hogwood and Bill Dooley back with you in Clemson, South Carolina. You're looking at the famous hill and one of the ways to get down at those box races. That's not a bad deal. Hey, Louis Solomon to pass, and he has got a completion out to his tight end, Ed Glenn. That's only his 3rd catch of the season. Tells you how much the Clemson goes to the tight end in the air. And Campbell on the stop for South Carolina. You were mentioning a moment ago, Bill, that this is the time for Clemson's offense right now. If they're to get in this football game, they have got to go and get some points.
Well, they've got to have a big play. They've got to have a momentum changer and just get it going. Make something good happen.
In a 4 on that play. Benji Wood is in at fullback now for the Tigers. Here's Solomon to throw. Overshoots Lamont Pegues, and I mean, he was nailed by Ronnie Smith, number 50. And Ronnie Smith has a few things to say there a moment ago to Lamont Pegues.
Well, Chris Rump was putting the pressure on. Watch number 58 come right in the face of Lewis Solomon. Oh, what a sound. I could hear it up in the press box.
Solomon 1 out of 5 for 4 yards since replacing Milan Green. Now 3rd down, 6 yards to go for a Tiger first down, and here comes Lewis Solomon. Solomon's got the first down across the 30. Flags fly. Terry Cousin making the stop. Solomon has what looks to be a first down.
Face mask, added on to the end of the run. First down.
This is a quarterback draw. This is run all the way. Lamont Pegues makes a good block. Number 7 comes in. There's a good block, and Lewis breaks outside and makes the first down.
And you saw there Terry Cousin. Okay, Mr. Tiger. Terry Cousin, who was had his hand on the face mask of Lewis Solomon. First down up at the 40-yard line. Again out of the shotgun. Solomon will throw this time. Throws behind his intended receiver, Antoine Wyatt. A little miscommunication there between Solomon and Wyatt. Tony Horn bringing the play in from Clyde Christensen and Rick Stockstill, the offensive coaches. Tommy West trying to come up with something in the playbook to get that ball down the field. Clemson now with 4 wideouts and Solomon in the shotgun. Solomon is going deep. Horn was well covered on the play by Cousin. And the ball was not thrown anywhere near the receiver. Some scores: Florida over Vanderbilt 10-7. A little tough for the Gators today. Maryland trying to come back. They were down 21-3 to Syracuse. Tennessee still pouring it on the Wildcats in Knoxville this afternoon. 38-0 in the 3rd quarter.
You know, Mike, Stacey Evans and Chris Rump are so fast off the ball, the Clemson tackles don't have time to set back before they're back in the backfield, putting the pressure on the quarterback.
Solomon to throw again and again. He's going to try to tuck it down, and this time David Turnipseed, number 91, is there to sniff it out. It's almost that time like South Carolina knew that play was coming.
This is Solomon out of the shotgun. Watch Turnipseed, number 91, fight off the blockers, the Clemson blockers, and peel out and pick up Solomon on the quarterback draw.
8th punt of the day for Nelson Welch. Daryl Nicklow is back deep, replacing Toby Cates, who has had quite a workout running back kicks. It's a Clemson roll, and will roll dead at about the 18-yard line. 8:57 left to play in this football game. It's been all South Carolina in the second half. Gamecocks lead the Tigers 27-7. In the 4th quarter of this big rival matchup, South Carolina out in front by 20. And they've got it 1st and 10 at their 18-yard line. Danny Hill to throw on first down. Completes it to Means up around the 28-yard line, close to a first down. Andre Humphrey rode Monty Means out of bounds.
Mike, I believe he checked to that. He saw Clemson gonna blitz, and he just had a little 3-step drop out to Means, number 80, and that kept that pressure off.
It's good for 9 yards, 2nd and 1. Not many things South Carolina has done wrong today. This is Bennett. First down yardage across the 35. Flag is down. Brian Dawkins again makes the tackle. He's been involved in a lot of plays on that Clemson defense today.
I believe it's illegal motion. Let's see.
On the offense on the run, 10 yards from the spot. Still second down.
Well, Steve Tannehill will have to come up with something else to try to achieve a first down and still be second down. The 10-yard penalty will make it about 2nd and 10. Maybe 2nd and 11, we'll call it. Again, right up the middle, this is Pritchett. What a hole, Pritchett. A lot of daylight, first down and then some, up to about the 39-yard line before Dawkins and Humphrey can stop him. But Stanley Pritchett has found a lot of positive running room right up the middle.
Ricky Bussell, the offensive coordinator, is really high on Pritchett. What a hole by the offensive line of South Carolina. And Pritchett takes advantage of it.
20 yards on the run by Stanley Pritchett. And Brian Dawkins was shaken up on the play. He's just gotten up. It was a fierce hit as he tried to bring Pritchett down. As you look at Stanley Pritchett, the junior from College Park, Georgia, and there's Dawkins coming off the field. Says, Pam will be okay. Got to shake that arm off a little bit. Let me back in there, Adam. Pritchett today, 13 carries, 70 yards. Good day for both running backs, Stanley Pritchett and Brandon Bennett of South Carolina. This is Bennett again on the toss sweep.
Another flag.
Tim Jones on the stop. Looks like some really high tackling out there, and
let's take a look at it. South Carolina pulls everyone. Oh, single wing toss sweep. There's a face mask, I believe, right there, unintentional, but it looked like Jones, 56, had his hand on his face mask, Mike.
Indeed, Tim Jones, who made the tackle. You start tackling a little high like that, sometimes it inadvertently, and you get that face mask. And it's a very costly penalty for the Clemson Tigers. Ball's all the way down to the 40-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. South Carolina starting to mount another drive. This is Bennett for a couple to the 38. Wardell Rouse on the stop.
Tackle by number 13.
Well, all they're going to do now is just eat that clock. Just give it to those backs, Pritchett and Bennett, and let the clock run and hope the change moves.
Well, the clock's running towards 7 minutes right now, 7:10 and counting. 2nd and 7 after the 3-yard run by Brandon Bennett. He's got 94 yards on this day. Again, now the toss sweep again, this time to the left side. Bennett goes over the 100-yard mark down to the 21-yard line. A gain of 16 on the play for Brandon Bennett.
They call this student body left and right. That's Bennett going up in there. Good blocking. Oh, excellent blocking by the fullback, the lead back, and the pulling guard.
That was your favorite play when you were coaching, wasn't it?
Student body left and right.
Brandon Bennett now with 110 yards, and remember that South Carolina has never lost when Brandon Bennett has run for over 100 yards in a game. First down, and this is Pritchett up the middle. First one and then the other. Darnell Stevens on the stop, but that clock continues to run, and now approaching 6 minutes as South Carolina is sustaining quite a drive. And again, let's keep you updated on some of these other games going on. West Virginia winning by just a point over Boston College in the 4th quarter. Tennessee has scored another touchdown. Leads the Wildcats in quarter number 3. Virginia has really piling on the points. 35-16 now over the Hokies, and also in the fourth quarter. Our score is 27-7, and South Carolina is driving again. Another score was really serious. Bennett stays in bounds. That clock will keep running. Picks up a couple of yards. Andre Humphrey and Darnell Stevens on the stop. It'll be third down and about 4 yards to go.
Humphrey is really supported from his cornerback position, coming up, making some big hits. I like the way he tackles. He really comes up and delivers a blow on the ball carrier.
Toby Cates has come back into the game. He has been out for much of this series. Into this third and 4 play. Tannehill from the shotgun. Tannehill with the little screen to Pritchett. He's got a first down. He's at the 5. Bulls his way to the 3-yard line. Stanley Pritchett. Andre Carter stopping him, but not before the College Park, Georgia junior picks up a first down and goal to go for South Carolina.
Well, this looked like a sprint pass out of the shotgun, and now he's going to come right back to his fullback, Pritchett. Good blocking out in front. Excellent block by number 68. That's Dexter.
James Dexter, number 68, with a great block. And you give credit to this whole offensive line for South Carolina. They've had a fantastic day today. Toss sweep, here's Bennett going for his second touchdown. He's got it. Flag is down as Bennett gets in the end zone. Now we'll bring it back, and the touchdown will be nullified, I believe.
Back by the offense is 10 yards from the goal line. Still be first down.
So it'll be first and goal from the 10-yard line as you mark off the penalty from where it occurred, and the block happened right at the goal line. Let's see if we can see it.
I think it's a wide receiver out there. 76.
It was Delvin Herring, the left guard, who committed the foul and blocking in the back. First and goal from the 10-yard line. And here comes Coach Dooley's favorite play. Student body left. This time there's a fumble. Reggie Alexander, number 30, looked like he recovered it for South Carolina. Marvin Cross caused the fumble, number 91 of Clemson, with a big hit on Brandon Bennett. Got it right on the football.
This is a sweep to the left. There's where the ball pops loose.
See, Cross just knocked it right out.
Right there.
Well, when you're in this situation, you start tackling the football, and that time it worked for Clemson. They just didn't recover the fumble. Reddick off the reverse. Flags down again. And that will not go for positive yardage. Toby Cates tackled for a loss by Wardell Rouse. There's a flag at the 25-yard line, and South Carolina is moving in the wrong direction.
Well, that's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to stop that clock, and they've stopped it several times with penalties.
Flip. On the offensive team, the penalties declined. Third down.
You know, Mike, South Carolina has two versatile backs, Brandon Bennett and Pritchett. Those guys not only run well, but also they can catch the ball.
The clip you saw there on the top of the screen was on Steve Tannehill, who was trying to throw that block. The quarterback, I'd give a quarterback an A for effort trying to throw the block like that, though, but he was called for clipping. Tannehill gonna be sacked. Raymond White, number 97, the freshman from Clinton, Mississippi. A loss of 12 yards, but the bad news for Clemson is that clock is winding down. Now 2:18 and counting. It will bring up 4th down and goal to go from the 37-yard line. And the clock continues to run. We're at 2 minutes now.
I imagine, Mike, they're going to let it run down and probably get a 5-yard penalty, delay, and then kick the ball.
I don't think a 5-yard penalty would upset anybody on the South Carolina side at this point. And that's exactly what happens. 1:42 left. The 5-yard penalty for delay of game, and South Carolina will no doubt punt it away. Clemson will have one last shot. Saw there the sign held up. State chance. Which is what this battle is all about. Bragging rights for the next year. And Bill, I find it amazing that the road team continues to play so well in this game. Now the 4th year in a row that the team on the road has won the game.
Well, that's unusual, very unusual. You would think because of the crowd noise here in Clemson that they would have the advantage, but that's not true. It's certainly not true in Columbia.
Nobody back deep for Clemson, and Simpson will try to put it away. Out of bounds. Got it out of bounds, okay. Straight out of bounds. Hit a photographer in the head. That's about a 4 or 5 yard punt, wasn't it? Now Clemson will have one shot to get another score on the board. 1:35 left. They trail by 20. Mike Hogwood and Bill Dooley back in Clemson. You see some happy Gamecock fans. 1:35 away from victory. Another whistle, and again, maybe a false start on the part of Robert Jackson, the right offensive tackle, number 72, I believe, moved. Should South Carolina hang on and win this game, which it appears they are going to do, it will be the first winning season for the Gamecocks since 1990. A lot of second teamers getting some playing time now in the game. Louis Solomon, quarterback's going to be sacked. Maynard Caldwell, backup defensive end in the game now, number 89. Caldwell with the sack. First Gamecock team to win 4 road games in one season. They lost a couple of heartbreakers this year, but that is in the history of the football program. Oh, picked off. This could be a touchdown. Benji Young, number 49, on the interception of the Louis Solomon pass. It was intended for Antoine Wyatt. Benji Young, the sophomore from Rock Hill, picks it off. And the Gamecocks add another 6 points onto the scoreboard.
Well, it looks like another tip drill, Mike. Solomon's back to pass, intended for 19, right off of his fingertips, and there's number 49. He takes it in for the score.
Benji Young.
And it's just another tip drill. Good concentration on the football.
Louis Solomon, 1 out of 8 today, 1 interception, 1 out of 8 for 4 yards. Not near the offense that Louis had hoped for when he came to the game. Mark Saylor, number 15, will now attempt the extra point. He's a senior, getting in the game, in this game that means so much to the people of this state. Always be able to say, hey, I played the day we beat Clemson. Saylor's extra point attempt is blocked. Brian Dawkins, not giving up, playing to the last play of the game, comes through and blocks the extra point attempt. And there are some words being exchanged down on the field. Now 33-7.
This is a tip pass, number 19, right in his hands, and it just bounces out. I mean, it's one of those things that Barry Young is just alert and picks up the ball that was intended for Wyatt.
Benji Young with the touchdown. Well, let's tell you about our players of the game, and I think Steve Tannehill certainly had a great game, so did Brandon Bennett, but Toby Cates, 4 big catches for 84 yards and a big touchdown to get the offense going. And Brian Dawkins, who we just saw blocking the extra point, He really played hard the whole game today.
Well, he did, and he hasn't given up. You know, one thing we need to mention is Toby Cates getting outside on those punt returns. Those could have been 2 big plays in the ball game.
Well, you saw Brad Scott a little wet there, and that wasn't all from perspiration today. Yeah, he's had the traditional bucket of water poured on him. Why not? He's got to be happy finishing his first season in South Carolina with a winning record, now headed to a bowl game in all probability. The CarQuest Bowl seems to be where South Carolina would go if they won today. Mark Saylor, who had that extra point attempt blocked, will kick off. Saylor, the senior from Barnwell, South Carolina. And again, a fair catch is called for by Brad Pope. That's the second one he's made of those today. And the South Carolina faithful still here cheering on their team out in front, 33-7. 57 seconds left to play in this great rivalry, which will be talked about, discussed, and dissected over the next 12 months until they meet again in Columbia next year this time.
Well, as you mentioned, it's bragging rights and also recruiting rights.
Yeah. We saw a look down the disappointed Clemson sideline. Solomon trying to run. There's just nowhere to go this time. Henry Taylor, backup defensive tackle, making the stop. Clemson passing today, 5 out of 19, 56 yards. Not what they needed to have a winning performance.
Well, you have to give a lot of credit to the defensive ends of South Carolina really putting the pressure on the quarterback.
Solomon up on, boy, that ball floated on. Pass was intended for Tony DeSue, who was in the game. Receiver position. Lee Wiggins breaks it up. That ball just floated.
Watch Lee Wiggins go over the back of the receiver, number 27. Here it is. Wiggins going up over his shoulders, playing that ball, and that's perfectly legal because as a defender, you're entitled to the ball as much as the receiver.
Not what we call a tight spiral on that pass.
It was a little floater.
Now 10 seconds. This will be the last play of the football game. 28 seconds, rather. We'll have another one. The clock is running. Clemson's going to have to hurry up, but they stop the clock now. There is a flag on the play. Brad Scott, boy, he's got to enjoy this. Coming in after 11 seasons working with Bobby Bowden at Florida State, taking over this program.
Over, dead ball foul against the team, first down.
Now taking them to a bowl game. Had a good year in the SEC, tied for second in the Southeastern Conference Eastern Division. Says he knows it's going to take a couple of years to get where he really wants to be. And wow, now we've got some students storming the field. I don't know if we will get another playoff. Louis Solomon. And that's it. Football game is over. The battle for bragging rights in this year had been won by South Carolina. The victory ride for Brad Scott, Gamecocks head coach. There comes some ice and water, and here come the students down on the field. Wow, this is a mob scene out there. 33-7 the final. We talked about big plays. Big plays were the difference in this football game. We'll come back to Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina. Final score, Gamecocks win at 33-7.
Today's Exxon ACC Game of the Week was brought to you by your neighborhood Exxon dealers and distributors, who invite you to stop by for the reliable performance of Exxon 93 Supreme Gasoline. Rely on the Tiger. By the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company, the vision to power your dreams. By Hardee's, your tailgating headquarters and a proud partner with the Atlantic Coast Conference. By First Union, when it comes to service, everything matters. By BC Powder, no matter where you're hurting, nothing works faster than BC Powder. And by your local Carolina Dodge dealer, home of the minivan store and America's truck stop.
Mike Hogwood and Bill Dooley back with you in Clemson, South Carolina, where the Gamecocks have just beaten the Tigers 33-7. You see that mob crowd. Oh, they're very excited down there. These Gamecock players will remember this for a long, long time. When you come on somebody else's home field and you come away a winner, that is something to really crow about, as the Gamecocks would do, and they are doing that right now. Bill, I want to ask, what do you think was the key in this game today for South Carolina to come away a winner?
Well, I think the big key was the big plays. The big plays, the offensive line did a tremendous job. They allowed Brandon Bennett and Pritchett, the big fullback, to run the ball, but the big plays from Tanny Hill to Toby Cates. You know, the big pass play when they had him down in there and they scored the first touchdown, and then four big receptions for 84 yards by Toby Cates. They moved him around and they got him matched up on the linebackers of Clemson, which is a mismatch.
It seems to me that the team that was going to pass today was the team that was going to be able to win, and that team was South Carolina. Steve Tannehill, really impressive job at quarterback today.
Well, he did an outstanding job, but I want to say something about the South Carolina defense. They really put 7 people in the box. They did not allow Clemson to run the football. Clemson was forced to throw the football, and that's not their game.
And Clemson was not successful in throwing the football, and that was the difference in the football game today. 33-7, the final. The Clemson Tigers losing to the South Carolina Gamecocks. We'll be back with more post-game, but first, these messages from your local ACC station.